Today we will talk about the new format of the podcast and some of our new members, the pairings of the month, and also the 2024 Super Bowl.
Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Will.
And today you're going to see us four on the show. We're going to be rotating in and out, or hopefully having all four of us on many shows. This is going to be the new format. Isaiah's dead to us now, so we decided to up the ante a little bit. Now we love Isaiah. We're glad he's moving on to bigger and better things. But this is your new crew, and we're excited to get started.
Heck yeah. So before we get rolling today, we'll talk a little bit about some sponsor messages. We want to go ahead and say thank you to Deadwood Live for this live edge table. Does beautiful work. If you've been in the lounge, you've seen the table and the barrel chairs and all this craftsmanship that he really puts into all of his work. You can check him out on Facebook, Deadwood Live, D-E-D. It's his initials, Deadwood Live.
Yeah.
Give him a follow, give him a like, send him a message. He'll do pretty much anything you want. So it's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Also want to give a shout out to Aladino. We're an exclusive Aladino lounge here at Final Third. So big thanks to them for helping us out with everything that we do. And they're doing some really good work, and everything they do is just top notch. So
absolutely,
shout out to Aladino. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, cool. Yeah, Rob, what are we pairing today?
So today we're going to be pairing the Migdalia. It's the Micallef Migdalia. This cigar has been a huge seller for us. We're going to be actually doing that's the pairing of the entire month. So the Migdalia will be part of the 10% off pairing. And let me get the details here. Damn it, I had it right away, didn't I? All right. So the one thing about the Migdalia is they actually named this after Migdalia Sanchez in 1963, which blended this cigar, or I believe she blended in 63. I don't know when it actually came out, but she actually created this cigar, and they honored her with that. It's a great cigar. It starts off a little bit more medium, but finishes more medium to full. It is a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Habano Mexican San Andreas, which is kind of unique. And then Sumatra binder, Nicaraguan, and Dominican binder and fillers. So really nice flavor complexity to this, and I'm excited to get into this and try it with this pairing.
Heck yeah. So we're pairing it today with the Jack Daniels Bonded Rye. We're hoping to have, the 12, but
yeah,
here we are, Jack Daniels Bonded Rye.
Probably another week or two, at least.
So this bottle came out, 2023? I think it was September 23. It's a fairly inexpensive pour, right? I mean, it's like $34, I think, for the bottle. So.
I was going to say it's between $34 and $40, depending on where you are.
Yeah, this is actually a 7-year rye. So it was distilled in the spring of 2016. And it's going to be a permanent shelf, permanent line to the bonded
to the bonded line. Yeah. Awesome.
So no slouch there. So hopefully it'll be around for a long time then.
I gotta say I'm really impressed with what Jack Daniels has been doing over the last couple of years. I mean, it seemed like when kind of the big craze started hitting, they kind of just said, well, is this a real thing or not? And single barrels and all the stuff that people are doing, and then they have just blown it out of the water. It's really good.
Yeah, I think everything they've released since really the obviously everyone knows Single Barrel. Single Barrel was a great release, but they've been doing that for a while. But was it last year or year before they did the regular bonded bourbon and then the triple mash, and everything since then that they put out has been gold. And most of their bottles have been coming out have been in that $40 price range,
which is great.
That's fantastic. So obviously, if you're getting into the Jack Single Barrel proof stuff, it's going to be more expensive. But the regular releases are really tasty, and this is definitely going to be one of them.
Yeah, for the price point, I think it's hitting on a lot of cylinders for a lot of people. I mean, it's just hitting a lot of those, middle of the ground, new drinkers. You're kind of getting into more complex flavors and stuff too. So it's kind of, to me, it seemed like a good middle ground pour as to where you have some beginners coming in. And this is a little more complex than just like the regular Jack Daniels or like a regular Jim Beam.
Yeah, it's a known brand, right? I mean, it's a known brand. So when you're talking to people and somebody's saying, I just got into bourbon and I got, my first bottle of Blanton's. We all know people get real excited about that kind of stuff. You can go back and say, hey, there's a Jack Daniels that you should really try, and it's really approachable. That's a nice thing for new drinkers.
Well, just for the past 2 years, they've been knocking it out of the park.
They have.
Just one great release after another.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been sitting on all this stock, and I think the folks at Brown-Forman finally realized, shit, we need to get this out.
We've got
some stop pushing Jack and Coke, and we can do this.
Well, and that's the thing. They did release the Jack and Coke, canned cocktails, and it got a big boom on there. So, I mean, I feel like there's still a lot of people out there that are afraid to try Jack because I only think of Jack number 7. Honestly, I hate Jack number 7.
Yeah,
but the rest of the stuff's delicious, and I would think that this Jack Rye would be a good one for someone that's not into ryes yet, because it doesn't have a super spice forward rye. It's got a lot of the banana you still get out of the Jack products, which balances out the sweetness in it. I think it makes it actually an approachable first rye for somebody.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of spice on the nose a little bit there. And you said banana.
Yeah.
Picking up some mint too, which I'd expect to see from a rye, but
it's not overpowering either.
No.
The overpowering mintiness on some of them is too. I don't like.
Yeah.
But this is just nice.
So I went with a V cut at Migdalia,
and I went straight. So
I went straight as well.
So yeah,
DV.
We went
DV straight.
There you go. Look at that, 2 and 2.
Cold draw notes. Yeah.
Yep. Getting some coffee.
Also getting a little barnyard. Getting a little bit of that barnyard hay and
some hay.
As much as no one likes to hear it, some manure.
First thing I picked up on.
Get that light manure thing going.
Yep. At the barnyard.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm getting some coffee notes.
And I will say it's wide open draw.
Yeah.
It is. I like that.
Me too.
Anytime I'm going, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use Deshaung's Cigar 101 technique here.
There you go. The 45, baby.
The 45.
That's right. So this was here at Final Third had a little education session.
Yeah.
This last week. It was fantastic. I showed up, and I've been smoking for a long time, but I thought, there's always a chance to learn something. And that's what amazes me is as long as you can be drinking or smoking or any of this stuff, there's still techniques, there's still things that you learn, mistakes that you make. And one of them for me was going straight up with the lighter versus going at a 45. And so I was pushing a lot of heat into the center of the cigar. I'd never thought about it.
Yeah.
Never even
the easiest way for me to canoe a cigar is just
it's a great
torch
and that could be why I've done it a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot of my cigars.
I didn't even really think about that.
And that's one of the things that kind of drives me nuts. You go into some of these really, really high-end cigar lounges, and, the pretty girls are walking around lighting your cigars and cutting them for you, and they're just sitting there just torching the heck out of it. And it's like,
that's
man,
good. That's good.
I know. I'm like, can I please light my own cigar, But I mean, it does. It just you
I
get
like
that flavor
cleavage as much as the next guy, but I would rather have a properly lighted cigar.
Exactly.
I need to hold that 45 degrees.
Yeah.
You get slapped in the face.
If anyone asks me if they want me to cut, if they'd like for them to cut my cigar, I'm like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, most places will charge you $5 for your own cut.
Well, and I'll tell you, man, there's a lot of places don't even ask you. They just have you immediately
go. On the tab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just part of your tab.
And whenever I'm picking my cigar in the humidor and the guy grabs it to go charge it, I'm like, I'm going to cut it and light it myself. I always do that. So that's a good point. If you go into one of those places, you might want to watch that.
Yeah.
I just realized something, guys.
What'd you realize?
We're going to have to you guys keep talking. I got to turn the fans on.
Oh, yeah. We probably should turn the fans on here.
Yeah.
It's going to get smoky real quick
It would
today.
get very, very smoky.
So the retro hail, I do get a little bit of red pepper, but it's not going to make me cry. Like my eyes are not tearing up with it.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
light.
there.
Yeah, light spice.
It's definitely there. Yeah,
not super overpowering. Not too spicy. It's a little spicy.
A little bit.
I'm digging the spice right now, though, on that retro hail.
Just saying, a little bit of red pepper on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a killer. Getting some more of the fruit notes with some of this Jack though.
Well, that's one of the things too. Is like we're talking about the retro hail when we just lit it up. If you're a retro hailer, that's always a great way to start a cigar because you're going to get a ton of flavor and you're also kind of acclimating your palate to the cigar immediately.
Yeah.
And a lot of those flavors that you're only getting normally through the retro hail come out through the mouth because you've already got your senses kicked in.
You going to teach that on the last Cigar 101 day?
Maybe. We're going to be talking about, I'm not sure if it's last or third, but we're going to be talking about flavor notes. It's
kind of hard to teach that.
It is. Oh, retrohaling me?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's tough.
I don't know how to
tough
do
one.
that.
no.
Yeah.
It took
You
me a
just-
while to figure it
You
out.
kind of just pick it up. Like,
Yeah.
at
You
some
do.
point, you just start figuring it
At
out.
some point, you just start realizing almost every puff you're blowing out your nose, like, oh, no wonder my nose is pretty spicy right now.
But, I do the same thing with any kind of whiskeys. I always prefer to kind of get that original, that first smell of it, but I don't feel like I'm going to get the full aroma. And so I always take just a very small sip, coat the tongue. It kind of gets everything because it's your nose and your tongue working together.
Yeah.
And then I go back in and I start really trying to analyze how does this, smell to me and what's the flavors I'm picking up. Otherwise, I'm missing stuff. I'm always missing stuff if I don't take a little sip first.
Yeah.
Well, that's
true.
something too. Is like when you're retro or when you're cold drawing, it seems weird, but you could actually kind of blow some of that smoke back or some of that air back out through your nose to kind of engage them. Otherwise, the best thing to do is just put it up to your nose and just kind of get the aroma of the tobacco, and then it kicks both of them in too. So it's just different ways to
Don't tip it up.
enjoy a cigar.
Don't do that. Too much spice. Too
That's
much.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not the.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the whiskey. Guys.
Yeah. Go ahead, Will. Get into it.
My first thought on obviously we talked about the nose a little bit, but definitely rye spice. And on the palate, though, I get a lot of rich fruit.
Yeah.
Very fruity to me.
It's that banana runts is part of it for me too.
It's a Jack thing.
Exceptionally well balanced.
It is.
I get a nice, not overly spiced finish, but I know it's there. And
Yeah.
obviously, I get some brown sugar notes to it as well. I think it's
I
delicious.
was thinking like vanilla on the finish a little bit.
Is it
Almost-
vanilla flavor, or is it kind of what you get vanilla laying on your tongue?
Kind of like just laying there.
That's what I'm getting,
Yeah,
is
it's
like-
not so much like
Yeah.
Not the
like
flavor, but-
pudding,
exactly.
but it's just like the
Yeah,
flavor.
it's definitely more vanilla than brown sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But kind of like dessert almost, but not too sweet.
I'd actually really like to try this with, I was down in New Orleans last week and Baton Rouge. And when I was in Baton Rouge, I had banana pudding.
Oh,
Ooh.
And I'm like,
this probably go great with
this would
that.
go pretty well with that.
Yeah.
The nose and ooh.
Sorry, yes, it did take all of about 4 minutes for the fat guy at the table to talk about food, but
Heck yeah.
It's definitely sweet. I mean,
Actually, we ate lunch before here. Well, Will had a big breakfast, but we three ate lunch
Yeah.
before we got here.
Went to
And
Hacienda Vieja.
You know what? We're
Pendleton.
probably not going to be talking as much about food as we normally do because I never
That's
eat
true.
before this starts. It's like,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
good.
A little Mexican this morning.
now on the aroma on this, I did want to comment that the banana side of it. I differentiate a lot, especially when I'm using fruits, because there is a big difference between the fruit itself and the fruit peel.
Yeah, this is peel.
And this is banana peel.
Yep, you're right.
Not because that banana fruit is got a real, heavy note to it. This is very subtle, but it's very nice. It really
Yeah.
does add to
I'm not
the
a huge
balance.
I like banana runts. I like banana flavored candies. I don't like bananas. I don't like banana bread.
Really?
Jen buys bananas.
Man,
They
banana
rot on the
bread.
counter. Drives me nuts.
Are you from the Midwest? I mean,
That's a prerequisite in the Midwest.
that does seem like-
Yeah.
You got to have
Man.
bananas rotting on the counter.
Look, I grew up on plantains, so
Oh,
Love
well,
banana.
yeah, okay.
You-
That's fair.
yeah, some brown sugar in a pan, some butter, some roasted plantains. Come on, like
yeah.
it's delicious.
I can't do
Yeah.
that with a banana. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe I should try it.
Yeah.
I can't do bananas.
I'm a banana guy.
Yeah.
I can do bananas.
I like bananas.
I like bananas.
I don't like
Dogs love
I
it.
don't
eat
like
them a lot. But
I don't like underripe bananas. Some people like to eat them when they're just
Green.
still a little bit green. I like them ripe. I don't like them.
too right.
They got to be right in the middle.
I'm
Yeah,
with you.
I can't pick out bananas.
Because eventually,
It's my
literally,
fault
like
they
you
die,
got like a
really.
2 or 3 day period that they're like you got to eat them, otherwise they're gonna sit on the counter
It's
and
too much.
rot.
Yeah,
The
that's
peel,
true.
I'm out.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. Me
I
too.
bring home a green one. She's like, I can't eat this. We'll wait 2 days. Well, then 2 days later, it's not good still. Then I bring home like an overripe one. She's like, this one's dead. I'm like, well, eat it right now. So we freeze dried it and made it into dog treats.
Actually, I will tell you
That's
that
a good idea.
They
that is a
loved it.
great way. You put them in the
It's
just put
horrible.
them in the freezer. If they're a little rotten,
Tastes horrible.
cut them up and put them in the freezer, and actually they are really good for us.
You take all the sugars out of it and all the moisture when you freeze dry.
Oh,
It is an awful flavor.
yeah, it's not like dry. It's not like making the banana chips. It's,
Yeah, no.
you're-
Cover those with sugar.
They do cover those with sugar.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why they're good.
And,
I
or
didn't do it
honey.
right.
Honey's good that way
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do it right.
Just brulee them, man. Then you'll love bananas. I mean,
the same thing.
You can brulee anything, and it's gonna be like, well, that's delicious.
Did you have Bananas Foster in New Orleans?
I did not have Bananas Foster. Yeah, I know. I actually, I can't remember the name of this place. Bluey's, I think, is what it was called in Baton Rouge. It was.
That sounds familiar,
dude. It's in the middle of nowhere, but they do ship like a ton of their food.
Yeah,
it's out kind of in a really rough part of town.
All
but
seafood.
I gotta say, it was. Oh, I had.
It's gotta be seafood.
Gumbo and etouffee and red beans and rice, all the classics, right?
Man.
Yeah, I mean the greens. I'm a big fan of collard greens.
Oh, me too.
Mustard greens, and they were like every single.
That's what we
thing
need to
there
do.
was
We need to have a
amazing.
gumbo cook-off.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know if you noticed, but driving I-10 west,
Yeah,
there are billboards every 100 yards for fresh boudin.
Yeah.
Sausage.
Yes.
Cajun boudin sausage.
Yes.
And everybody and their brother
They make their own. Yep.
boudin or gator in some fashion or crawfish.
Yeah,
That's
look,
normal.
I'm
It's
gonna
normal
have
there.
gator every time I
love
see it.
gator.
Gator's one of my favorites. It's too bad in Indiana we don't get it a little bit more prevalent up here.
Yeah.
And it's sustainable, man, because
Yeah, but Dallas
there's
is doing
gators
seafood. I wonder if he could get us. I mean, that's a different,
He could probably
Region.
get.
I bet he could get
He's
some
getting
gator.
stuff off the Gulf anyway.
You can smoke a small gator
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
easy.
Oh, they a lot
Sounds
of people
acceptable.
wrap them in bacon,
Dude.
the whole thing, but you got to leave the head,
Oh yeah,
Right.
the head's whole.
and you got to prop the mouth open. For
Yeah, and you got to get a
presentation.
big old apple in there.
Yeah,
just to-
exactly. Well, then you
for
pull the apple out,
presentation.
so it's just the teeth right there, and you're just looking like,
put a-
I'm really going to eat this
put a
snake-looking
chicken
thing.
We do.
I've seen the chicken in there before.
A crock ducking.
This sounds like a summer thing going here.
Yeah,
We should
yeah,
do
we're gonna have
this.
a gumbo cook-off.
You know, it must be that the sun is out because
Oh.
yeah,
I mean,
it's amazing.
I found out
Beautiful.
Indiana had the grayest January in the last 25 years.
Believe
Oh,
me.
it was crappy.
Without the sun, I kind of lose my mind.
Me
So
too, me
the
too.
Yesterday, it started. The sun came out in the afternoon, and now it's beautiful here. So we're all
It's
ready for
great.
summer.
Yeah,
We're supposed to have sun all week. This is just
It's gonna be
high
good.
55s today.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh man,
Beautiful.
yeah. Sounds
know, it's
like I'll
like
be
the-
having another cigar out on
Yeah.
the back porch today.
Well, the first day of fall, you know, when it's like 100 degrees in the summer, and then the first day of fall is like 60. You're like, man, it's kind of chilly out here.
Yeah.
What after a month of negative 15?
Yeah, 60 year old
It's-
shorts and
yeah,
a
it's like
t-shirt.
25.
I am in shorts and a t-shirt today, and sandals.
That's
even.
true.
You had a fair number of bikers in yesterday.
We did, yeah. It was a little chilly on them, but it wasn't. I mean, they were still ready to get out because
Beautiful weather.
putting your sunglasses on the motorcycle, even if it's chilly, is fine.
Nothing beats it, man. Nothing
Yep.
beats it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little more about the pairing. We're doing Micallef because I have a big Micallef event this month.
Yeah,
February
yeah.
16th.
16th, we got Al Micallef coming out. He is the patriarch of that company, of the family. So we're excited to have him out. I've not actually heard an interview with him. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have him on the show. So we'll get a quick interview with him. But, yeah, it'll be February 16th. And 20% off all Micallef boxes. So it's a great time to get in. And, sometimes when you're talking about a higher dollar box, 20% is a good chunk of money.
Oh, yeah.
But you're talking about these Micallef Blacks in there and the Migdalias. The prices are low. You're getting a box of them for pretty dang cheap. I mean, those Micallef
You're getting
are
close to cost at that point.
yes. You're getting down there. So that's going to be a great way to pick. Fill up your cigar box for the springtime. We're getting ready to be able to sit outside. So be a great time to do that.
Yeah, and we've talked about it a couple times over the last couple weeks, how important it is to show up to the owner events because, anybody can come meet a rep. Reps are cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they are great. Yeah.
That's great. You get a lot of information, but mostly they're here to get you their brand. With somebody like Al Micallef, he's going to make sure that you know the heritage, that you know their lineage with, the tobacco products that they sell, and that you're going to learn something, and that they're proud of their brand.
Get an inside look.
Yeah.
I'll add to that. It's always worthwhile to take time to tell them what you think about what they're making.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you like it, because look, they're no different than any of us. They're making a product.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're enjoying it, they really like hearing that, right? They're working hard.
Sure.
Take your time, express your gratitude. I mean, I love the little A.
Yeah.
I bought a box of 50 and
$6
I smoke
cigar.
them all the time. They're absolutely fantastic. It's a great 35-minute smoke. I absolutely will be here and saying thanks for making that because that's a great little cigar. And it's, what do you have it, like 650
Six something?
something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. 620, 630
They're
something.
insane.
Yeah, they are.
Quality
Yeah.
and the construction on the cigar, was one of the biggest surprise cigars for me for last year.
I
was
agree.
blew
Me
out of
too.
the water.
Well, and this year they haven't released the details of it. Maybe we can see if we can get Al to release that one on the show.
Talk about the blue.
But the blue's coming out this year, and it's going to be the same price point as the black.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what a great price for a brand new cigar 2 years in a row. And last year, I mean, how many times there's so many of those podcasts and review channels that had black #1 cigar of the year as a budget-friendly cigar. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good middle ground one too. Like, we always talk about La Galera and stuff like that just because of the price point, and their construction is really good. And, all their products are, top notch. So it's really nice to see that it's not just like one brand that's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So, everybody has the intention of doing the right thing and making the best product, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Maybe you don't have the best sourcing for your tobacco. Maybe you're not using the best, local roller. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe you just don't have all of the best assets that you could possibly have.
Yeah.
And that's what you mentioned, Scott, was that, sometimes these places need to know that. Like, how many times have you cut a cigar where the cap just falls off? Like, that's bad.
Exactly. And on the opposite side, when they're making it really, really well,
right,
and they've taken the time to create a quality product, saying that, it's like you're doing all the right things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Great burn.
I just always appreciate that everybody can complain. It's easy to complain, and we all know it. And sometimes it's worth it, right? Sometimes a complaint is necessary. There's no question. But lots of times people just don't get told often enough, man, you are killing it.
Yeah.
Like, keep doing this because I'm going to keep buying your cigars and I'm going to keep smoking them because they're fantastic.
Yeah. But so that's why we're doing the Migdalia today, because, Al Micallef's coming. So let's do it. So that'll be on the board.
Yeah, I notice as I get into the cigar more with the Jack Bonded Rye, I'm really it's pulling out some more baking spice for me out of the whiskey that I didn't get at first.
It cuts down some of the sweetness, doesn't it?
Yeah, it cuts down some of the sweetness, which I've kind of like.
I do like that, yeah.
I was getting like pear almost. Out of the Jack. That's where some of that sweetness was coming from. It's like fruit sweet.
Green apple. It was kind of
I can see it.
There's a little bit of apple note to it.
Yeah, a little bit more of the fresh fruit flavors. Like
as it opens up a little bit, it's getting more sweet.
And I think it's actually having a little bit of an impact on the cigar. Now, some of it could just be the initial versus getting into the first third. But I noticed the pepper is still definitely present, but it's not sharp. It was right. It was that red.
It settled down quite a bit.
It did. It really.
Yeah, at the first light, it was
there. It was there, and you knew it.
They're definitely playing nice upon each other. That's a good thing too.
Yeah. Sometimes you do the pairing, and you're kind of like, okay, well that's a pairing.
That happened.
Just like last week. We did the Camus, and we did it with the.
It was okay.
It was Instructora, which honestly. We should have been thinking we should have probably done it with a San Andreas.
Yeah.
Olmec. It would have been fine with this cigar.
Maduro. Yeah, this one would have been great with it. Something a little more.
That was my brain. I screwed that one up, but it was actually.
But it's still good. It's still good because people might like. I mean, look at the Camus. We did a 2021. We were all talking about 18, 19. 19 was much drier than 21.
Right.
So even to have that, with somebody that doesn't have that dry palate that is really into cabs, may be more interested in the 21 now because that's
fruity.
Because it's a little sweeter. Yeah,
that's a little sweeter fruit. So, it may not have been the best one, but we did it.
It was good.
She was a master roller.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, she was
Migdalia Sanchez.
She was a roller, and then she created this actual blend too.
Okay.
And usually you have a blender and then you have your rollers, but I believe this cigar was actually made or blended by her and then rolled by her. Then obviously she's not the only one rolling it, but I don't think she's still rolling it all. So
no,
she might be. We'll talk. We'll have to ask Al and Jeremy a little bit about that too.
Yeah.
But we do have some other things coming up too. So February what day is that? The 24th. So that weekend we got a lot going on. February 24th we've got Dirk end of watch program or legacy program. We're having them hopefully out here. It depends on if he's going to be at the Fuel game or not. Fuels did a nice deal with him where he sells tickets through his site. We're going to be sharing it as well. Several, I don't remember how much, maybe $10 or $6 of each ticket goes directly to Watch. So they're doing that, which is awesome. I'm so excited about that.
Big
And they're
shout
going
out
to be
to Indy Fuel. That's awesome.
Yes, it is. And they're doing like the first responder night, and he's going to be the kind of the guest of honor of that. So I'm hoping they have him out there, but if he's not out there, we're going to have him here. We're going to be doing a side-by-side, watching the game, but also having an event for him that day. So we're going to be taking donations for End of Watch out here during that whole day as well, which we do that every day. If you ever want to donate to End of Watch, that program is literally giving money to families of fallen officers. And that's all they do. They don't question what you do with it. They may need a vacation. They may need to pay bills. They may need to pay for a funeral, whatever they have to do. It's money just given to them to honor the sacrifice they've given. And we are very much supporters of that.
And
Absolutely.
they always can use donations.
Always.
Because they unfortunately in 2023, we had several officers go down in the line of duty, but it was in a very close time, proximity. And the charity really struggled to meet the needs of those families. So
It did.
Always, anytime you can support them, they are very appreciative.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got that one on the 24th. The 25th is a Sunday. We got Jackie Zykan coming out. I believe there's still a couple tickets available for that, which I'm shocked we still have those.
Yeah.
Let's
So
fill
there's
those
still a couple
seats.
tickets. So get out, get those, get in there and get them. If you're on our email, there's a link on the email. If you come in here, you can buy them here at the register. $150 tickets. Jackie does an insane job on basically training your palate to taste flavors and
great
smell
sensory
flavors.
Will's done it.
Will's done it, so you can tell us a little bit more about that.
I've been to two of her sensory training classes, two of them over in Arnold, Missouri at ABV Bottle Shop with Steve Akeley and Jim. And
Shout out.
shout out, guys. Yeah, and I learned something new both times. I mean, both times, shout out to you guys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something new both times. Just the great thing that what Jackie's going to do is everybody can smell the classic notes in a bourbon. Usually you can pull out caramel, you can pull out vanilla, but we're talking some seriously different notes that you would never think about pulling out in a whiskey. And she'll get you dialed in so you can pull out coconut.
I'm excited.
Or saffron.
Yeah.
Or celery.
Perfect timing, baby. I've got saffron.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
if you guys want to smell saffron, we'll talk about it right now.
There
if
you
want
go,
to.
yeah.
There's a new, new to me. It's called Jerusalem Market and Cafe over in Noblesville. We went there, dude. It's the most authentic food I had when we had in Israel. It was amazing. Mediterranean, but it's mostly like the falafel, the shawarmas, and all those. But they had saffron for sale,
That's crazy.
so I bought a little one. Of course, this is not the $1,000 saffrons, but
Like saffron.
you can really this
Yeah.
this
There are
will
notes within saffron. Like
There are.
Saffron's complicated.
Yeah.
They
It
are.
really is.
It's definitely that kind of almost not as much Indian, but it's that earthy. It's hard to describe because there's sweetness, there's earthiness, there's spice in there, there's baking spice, there's a lot going on. But when I couldn't think of what it smelled like. I saw it there. I'm like, I gotta get some of this to try smell. So
Sometimes you can get some real floral. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it is, flour, but
Yep.
yeah, it's surprising the variances in it.
yeah,
And yeah, I've cooked a lot with saffron actually. I've done saffron rice.
yeah.
My daughter made some saffron infused oil.
So this
Okay.
this is funny because we're still training Gus. Obviously, he's just turning into a whole monster, getting way worse with reactivity with other dogs and people. So one of the training methods we use is to have a trigger word that will get his attention, so we can redirect him before he reacts to another dog or person. And we're going on a walk the other day. And we're trying to think of a good trigger word. And so I was looking up like slang words in Australian, because he's an Australian cattle dog. So I was looking up, crikey obviously was the first one that came to me. Jen was like, no, that's stupid. We're not doing that. So we were trying to think of words that we don't say all the time.
Yeah.
And somehow I said saffron. I was like, I never cook with saffron. I never have saffron in the house.
There you go.
So now Gus's trigger word, no shit, is saffron.
Saffron.
Oh,
I was
that's
gonna say-
great.
That's his training word.
I was gonna say
Who says that?
Bosco from the Seinfeld episode.
There you go. Bosco.
When George gave out his password and Robin's on her deathbed, she's like, Bosco. So
yeah, that's funny. Saffron.
That
Saffron's
is great.
a good one. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm excited for that, man.
I am too.
We're hopefully going to be speaking with her either this week or next week at some point. So probably not this episode. Maybe next week we'll be able to get her on to talk a little more, give us a little more insight on what that event's going to entail, and then hopefully fill the rest of those seats. So
yeah, we're hoping to talk to her on, was it the 12th?
I think so, yeah.
So it depends on how early we get that, whether it goes on the 11th or the following week, or if we do it that week. Yeah.
Either way,
That's
we'll
true.
hear from Jackie's ICANN
And
first.
13th is the one. Yeah. We may not get on 13th, but it'll definitely be on probably the 20th. So.
other business that she's in besides Hidden Barn is Odu Oak, which is her cologne perfume.
Yeah.
Which is right behind me. You can get it here.
She's doing really well with that. And
Yeah.
she's got some really unique scents that go with those lines, and I like them.
So what's your favorite?
Blue Jay's
Blue Jay?
my favorite, yeah.
I think Love and Whiskey is my favorite. I do like Blue Jay a lot, but Love and Whiskey is probably my favorite. Hiker Trash sells well.
Yeah.
Walk of Shame sells really well.
The names are great.
They're great, yeah.
I need to check these. I haven't even looked at them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You gotta
they're
check
crazy,
them out back
man.
here.
The smells are insane.
Yeah.
There's some that are a little bit more feminine. They're all supposed to be unisex, but there's some that are a little bit more feminine. But for the most part, there's probably 4 or 5 of them that are masculine enough to where they still good.
Easily.
So,
So I can match with my wife when I go. Like we can wear the
there
same
you
shirt,
go.
put the same.
There you go.
Just tuck some saffron in
Heck
your
yeah.
pocket. You'll be
Exactly. Saffron will be good to go.
Hey, we'll have to get Lisa doing that because she loves to match me whenever we go places. Okay, so that's the 25th. And then the following week, the 29th, we've got Espinosa coming out. So Tyler's going to be here. So we'll have an Espinosa event that day or that evening. And then right after that, which actually during that week, February 27th through the 1st, is our 2-year anniversary week. So we'll be doing stuff all week long for that. We're excited to be there.
2 years. It's a big month.
If you haven't come out in a while, that would be a great week to come out, and we can thank you guys for being part of it, and just come out here and hang out with a bunch of people. So it's going to be a good week. But this is a lot of stuff coming up. We're getting into that season now, man. It's getting warmer outside, and people are venturing out more. It's time for spring to hit.
It'll be an uptick in the next couple
We're
weeks.
literally in the first week of February, and we've got spring weather already. I'm like, you know what? I'd be totally fine. I'd be totally fine if we didn't get any more snow or ice. Let's just
Me too.
move right into some warm weather. But that ain't going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
It ain't going to happen.
I'm still nostalgic, man. I'm from the north. I moved down from Vermont, so I'm real sad that I don't get 4 feet of snow every year anymore.
You can go back to Vermont.
Just go,
Right back up.
Yeah, you go right back to Vermont,
just
buddy.
go up to South Bend for a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fine,
okay.
right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hit Michigan.
Yeah, they only get like 12 inches every day.
Yeah, I miss it.
Yeah.
Well, if it's gonna, I always say the same. I don't mind winter, but if it's gonna be negative, let's snow.
That's the one
If
thing.
it's gonna winter, just be winter.
when it's just gray and brown,
Yeah,
it's
not
just
good.
the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's white, at least it looks pretty.
I feel like January, February, I spend at least an hour a week looking at beach real estate.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got Zillow. Every day I'm getting 2 to 3 emails, and it's like, yeah, that's an interesting
New
deal.
condo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in the plan.
Well,
What
I
else
did.
we got?
I did skip 2 other things. I'll go ahead and talk about these real quick. So February 13th is Fat Tuesday for Mardi Gras. Lisa's going to try to do some fun stuff for Mardi Gras this year. We're not really sure what yet, but we want to honor Mardi Gras because we're New Orleans lovers. And you know what? I never want to be down there during Mardi Gras, but it's fun to support it, So it's like, let all the crazies go down there. I want to go other weeks.
Man, I should have bought some masks and stuff while I was down there. I mean, they were everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. right now.
Full of masks and beads, baby.
Well, and I was there during like King's Cake week, and I had never even had a King's Cake.
Oh, yeah.
I showed up to a
Did you get-
customer event.
did
They
you
had
get baby
23.
Jesus?
I did. Yeah, we did the babies to vote on.
Okay,
which.
Oh, you
which
got the
one
mini.
is-
You got the personal
the-
king cakes.
like these were, I don't know, it was some corporate event. We just happened to be there for a meeting, and there was 23 different King's Cakes.
Yeah.
And you got little plastic babies.
Yeah.
And you put them in a cup to vote for which one you like the best. And
Oh, that's cool.
They were, I mean, it was.
That's
Well,
the Cajun way, man.
And the way the king cakes kind of started was, and I believe this is accurate, was like during Mardi Gras, you'd have a party and you'd make a big king cake and you put one baby Jesus in there, and the person who got the slice with baby Jesus got honored.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of fun. That's kind of
Heck
fun.
yeah.
That's
I don't know if baby
Tradition,
Jesus,
man.
I don't know
Like,
if baby Jesus wants to get suffocated in a cake, but that's fine.
I sent
fine.
when my kids were little in grade school. Every Fat Tuesday, I sent them to school with a king cake for them to share with their.
Oh, that's cool.
Because like Taylor's, like the local bakeries around here will do them.
They will,
So,
yeah.
and they're
Yep.
good. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Still haven't been to New Orleans yet. I gotta go.
Man.
It's one of my favorite places in America, to be honest with you. I love it.
Once.
Yeah, while I was down there, I did hit up, what is it, Cuban
Creations.
Cuban Creations
Yeah.
there in the quarter.
It's a cool place,
it's
isn't
a
it?
great little cigar lounge. It's better when it's warmer because during
Outdoor.
COVID, they put the outdoor stuff they allow them to keep it on the street.
Yeah.
And so they got just like a few little outdoor couches there.
Yeah, the 3 parking spots that used to be parking spots are just their lounge
Yeah,
now.
it's
outside.
just the
Yep.
lounge. Yep. So it's great place, great whiskey selection, great people down there. Highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, and you'll meet a lot of locals. That's the kind of people I like to talk to.
And then Cigar Factory
Yes.
on Decatur Street is
Another
my-
block or two
one of
down.
my favorite hangouts. To go in, grab a cocktail off the street, walk in there, sit down,
Watch them roll.
pick out a great. I love their Connecticut's.
Yeah.
Robusto is one of my favorite every day. If I could have boxes here all the time, I'd get them. It's just a great smoke.
So these
Very
lounges down there, or do you have to smoke outside?
Well, that's actually
you
Cigar
just-
Factory is actually literally a cigar factory. It's just
Okay.
small shop, but they roll cigars. They got usually four rollers in there rolling,
Yep.
and then they got their humidor of their own stuff that's aged, obviously. In the humidor, you can go in there and grab one, smoke, and watch them do their
They
thing.
don't sell alcohol, but they have chairs in there, like, and tables, so you can.
Yeah.
They'll let you
a
bring it
drink,
in.
You can hang out.
That's cool.
It's New Orleans. You can literally get to go
Yeah.
Yeah,
cups
you
for your
just-
beer.
You know, whichever corner place you get your daiquiri of choice, because that's what it is. It's corner places that you can't even like stay in there. You just walk up,
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
up
That's
bars.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
every
awesome.
single bar. If you've not been there, highly recommend, because you walk up and every single bar has a walk up bar. So you get the place where it's like
even
you're
better.
serving food and there's the band and everything, and you're just on the street walking by. And you're like, oh, I need a drink. My cup's empty. Okay, there's the first bar.
rock.
Walk up, order whatever you want. They give
look,
it to you in
Taco
a
Bell.
plastic cup, and there you go.
Yeah. That's
And,
awesome.
and just for example, open containers not a thing down there.
Right.
I mean, you
No,
can li-
it is a thing. You all have to have.
You
an
all
open
have to have an open
with you
container,
all the
yes.
time.
That's the law.
Yes, that is.
You do have drive-through daiquiri stands. You
Well,
pull your
it's
car
not
up.
technically an open container because they leave the paper
They
on
leave
the
the
top of the street.
exactly, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But you
That's
go to
the safe part.
there's a couple, and I wish I could remember the name of them when I was there last time. There's a couple of really good craft breweries, kind of in the warehouse district, and
cool.
And again, every brewery they got if you're ready to go and you're not done with your beer, they got little to-go cups. You just go there, pour your beer, and carry out and drive home.
Actually,
yeah.
New Orleans, greater New Orleans area has some great craft.
They do. They
They're
do.
really doing a good job there.
Yeah.
And I feel
Everybody knows Turbo Dog. You got Abita.
Abita.
Abita's around
Yeah.
here even.
Yeah.
But that's the big dog down there.
Yeah.
I will say, if you like people watching, I haven't done this yet, but there were some folks that were from up north and they'd moved down there, and I met them at Cuban Creations last time I was down there, and they said that they will specifically go out at about 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning to go sit and have a drink at a bar, because the bars never close. Right?
Yeah.
It's 24 hours. They have never closed ever, and they're like, it's the best thing.
Well,
You just go down there and people watch.
all the service industry is getting off work and going there.
Right,
at 2, 3 in the
exactly.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the idiots that started at 7 o'clock and managed to actually make it all the way to 5 o'clock.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't know who those people are.
I've done it. So so there's two more things. I'll blow through these fast. So I said last week on the show I didn't know we were doing this, but apparently we're going to be watching the big game, whatever you want to call that. We're going to be watching that here. Since we're not charging, since we're not charging for it, we should be able to call it Super Bowl. I don't think if you're charging a fee, I think that's different because it's on national network.
The game of Super Balls.
Yes. So we're gonna have that on if you want someplace to come hang out and have a cigar and a drink. Watch a game.
Appetizer competition. Bring an
That'd be fun.
appetizer.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
But don't throw that out there because I don't want to deal with the food.
Oh, you're dealing with it.
I thought that was on the invite.
It's on the invite.
Oh, see, another thing I just learned on the show. This is great. This is great. And then the Cigar 101. So we have 1 week down now. Every Thursday, the first 4 Thursdays of February, there's actually 5 this year. First 4 Thursdays of the year, of the month, we're going to have that. This next week, we're going to talk about cigar anatomy and a little bit of the construction, stuff like that. We talked about cutting, lighting, and etiquette last week. And then we'll get into some more stuff, as we get into the month. So that's on a Thursday night. What was it, 7?
I do want to add to that. Yeah, 7 to 8-ish, something like that. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like you were just standing up there telling everybody.
It's not a lecture.
It's a discussion.
Yeah, it's not a lecture.
And so it was fun because you got to hear, some other people say, well, I've heard somebody say, always do this, or, that you should look for this, whatever it is, right?
Like
Things
you should only smoke half.
Yeah,
Well, and that
smoke to the band was one.
And that was
right?
fun because we're sitting there and I think someone brought up, I've heard, people say you only smoke to the band. And there was a girl sitting right behind me that literally did that. She smoked it to the band, laid it down, and she perked up. And we started talking about, that's really a misnomer. Sometimes most of the time, the best part of the cigar is once you pull the band off.
Right.
And she's like, so she pulled off the band and lit it up. She's like, I get it now.
Yeah.
And that's, again, you learn things, or you hear things, and you think it's gospel. And no, it's not. You enjoy the cigar the way you want to, just like your bourbon.
Yeah, you only smoke half if you burn the shit out of it. And then
Right. Then
Yeah.
it's down to the cap.
You smoke a half if you're at a bar where they light it like this.
Yeah.
I've been really bad at caving them in for.
Oh, you yelled
for
at me the other day.
2 years, right?
Yeah.
And
Just the tip.
since I did the 45, I have not had a single one cave.
Man.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
just
take
didn't
care. I'm gonna take care of that if I'm spending $18-19 on a good cigar.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna treat that a little differently than
that is a good
spending
point
$6.
too, because if you do run the heat down there, if you're doing perfectly in the dead center, then that's one thing. But you're never going to do perfectly down center. You're probably going to heat up the side where you're going to get those tunneling issues going on. So
get some of those runs.
that's true. Yeah.
And
So,
I've been bad at doing that too, man. You caught me the other day. I was lighting up a La Galera, the Imperial Jade.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
all the flavors that you said I was missing by roasting the edges and not just getting the tip and then waiting for it to catch on its own. And then I did the next day. I lit just the tip and I took a couple deep draws and so many more flavors.
Yeah.
You get all of that. You get all the wrapper in that then.
yeah.
So don't hesitate to come to the 101. Even if
We're all learning stuff.
It's a
You
community
never stop
effort,
learning.
and it's
Yeah.
surprising what you will learn.
And
when you have
sometimes weekdays are hard. We know that. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
So we've talked about it too. At the end of the month, we're going to compile everything, get some feedback from the people that attended, and then look at kind of re-recording some of the stuff to make sure that this is going to be out there for everyone to revisit. So,
Excellent. Good.
these aren't live taping events that we're doing for the Cigar 101, but
Right.
come at March, maybe we'll have some short videos available, just a 30-second, 45-second video of how to light, cut,
Yeah.
and then, how to maintain, and then just kind of grow from there. So,
Yeah, and this first month was really for me is more about how's this going to work, how are we going to engage
Get
each
the
other?
interest and-
Because one of the things Mike had asked if I would set up a camera for the cutting and lighting part, and I told him afterwards that it really wouldn't have worked because it was really more about the
way more
conversation.
interactive. Yeah,
So
it's way
we
more
will
interactive.
sit down and maybe we'll just sit down and one of us will sit down and show the different types of cuts or something.
Yeah.
Just a quick little instructional video. It's not going to be anything most people are going to learn, but if you understand the reasons why, then it makes sense why you would cut things differently. So
Are you going to do? I was going to circle back to the Micallef event.
yeah.
Will Circle City? Is that the day Circle City?
Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. So go ahead and talk about that.
I know that Drew Black with Circle City Whiskey Company, or Circle City Whiskey, will be here as well.
Either Drew or Victor, one of the two will be
Victor's the
here.
brand ambassador now for
Yeah.
Circle City. One of those two guys will be here pouring
Thanks for reminding me of that.
their whiskey, which is really they're doing a great
It's
job.
excellent.
They're sourcing some of the best barrels I've tried consistently across the board so far. They're the ones we've talked about, which we had on the show, that Heaven Hill barrel that isn't supposed to be said Heaven Hill, but it is. That one's probably still my favorite of anything they've released yet. Their regular bottle and bond bourbon is delicious. So we'll talk
Served
about
at,
more.
Indy Fuel Games.
Yes, the Fantasy Fuel Games have him. He's a sponsor down there too.
Card at Indy Fuel.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that because they're going to be here. We're going to have the bourbon tasting and the Micallef event side by side, and it'll be a great night. Yeah.
Can you talk about his news?
Yeah, I think
Share that.
exciting. Yeah, so Drew announced last week, I think it was last week, that he's partnered with Butler, and they will be releasing a Butler Bulldog Circle City whiskey bourbon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Drew kind of went on to explain his connection with Butler as being a Butler grad, and also being involved with a lot of people very influential in his life from the business side of things for Circle City whiskey. Really helped him get this
Shape him.
product.
Yeah.
So he wants to pay homage to those guys.
Good to him.
And to the university.
Yeah.
It's very special.
It was great to hear that from him.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
His social media post was really heartfelt.
Very
You could
was.
just tell it was. Yeah.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for, they've really been working hard, and it's starting to pay off for them. So good for them.
Yeah, I'm excited. And again, it's a new brand for Indiana over really the last year, maybe.
Yeah.
And and honestly, they're sourcing, and you know what they're doing? They're basically unabashedly saying, yeah, we source barrels, but we source great barrels.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see it.
They give you as much detail as they possibly can about every barrel and every mash bill and every percentage that goes into their blends, which is they're very transparent.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
That's great.
Which is very, very nice in this industry.
And it's actually been a bit of a change, because when people were first sourcing and doing finishing, like High West, right?
You barely get the mash.
High West, but you didn't know anything about it except
Right.
it was finished, and they treated it as if it was their own product, right? Their own distillate. I don't think that it was done with any kind of ill intent. It just sourcing wasn't something that was a real common knowledge.
You can't say it, but you imply it.
Yeah, and now it's like everybody just accepts it's okay. There are companies that are so good and they've been distilling for so long and aging for so long, and they have the facilities, they've already spent the money, but they have so much product, they're willing to sell it, and other people can go in and release things that are unique and different flavors that you've never had before. So I agree with you.
Get master
the
blenders
fact that it's
places.
now more open, and it's an open discussion, and people are like, hey, look, we just have people that know whiskey really well, and we're going to go out and we're going to pick some things that people didn't know existed.
Sure.
Well, and I will say, for those of you that are maybe not as in depth and as big of nerds in whiskey as we are, if you ever want to know if a whiskey is sourced, look on the bottle and see where it's distilled.
Yeah.
If it says Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or Bardstown, Kentucky, it's probably 99% chance it's sourced. But and honestly, the other way is you just look up where the distillery is, and then if it's not matching where it's distilled, then you know it. So, I mean, they have to put that on the bottle.
Yeah. It's not a red
legally.
flag. It's
It's not a red
it
flag.
just has to be there. It's
And that's the way most of them do it. Not very many of them actually say, no, we're sourcing it, So that's
And on
the
the
way to know.
opposite side, at least if they are distilling it, then you know that they're making an attempt at this, right? And now you can appreciate the product, because sometimes you might go out and you might try something new and you think, well, this doesn't seem like as good as what it should be. And then you find out, oh, this is their own distillate. They've been doing this for 3 years.
Right.
They don't have a lot of very aged product. They're not doing really advanced blends because they don't have the ability to do it yet. Now you can appreciate the work that the distillers put into it, that the company owners put into it, and say, all right, well, I should keep investing in these guys by way of buying their product, because I can see where this has great potential to be something really special.
And you get into this, and you get into here with, places like Hard Truth. Look at what they're doing now.
Yeah.
So they're bringing out new bourbon.
Yeah.
We got the 4 grain, the bourbon, and then a bottle and bond weeded. That's, in line with the price point of everything else. It's just their own distillate now. So, that's cool.
They're going to pop this year.
I think so too.
They're going to have.
We were a little disappointed with the 2 that were 90 proof.
I'm a little disappointed they proofed them down, because I've tasted it out of the barrel at barrel
4 grain
proof, and it's
bourbon.
delicious. I hope it doesn't lose too much by proofing it
Well,
down
we talked
too
about
far.
that the other day, that, maybe they're saving those higher proof ones for picks.
Or for distillery only releases.
Yeah, sure.
Could be,
We should think about doing a podcast down there one day.
We
I think
we
it'd be
need
fun
to.
because
We need to. They would do it.
They would be on board, I think.
Yeah.
And it's the showcase. I love
Yeah.
showcasing Indiana or Hoosier distilleries that are really
That's
getting
coming.
national.
Yeah, they're growing.
No
they're growing
notoriety
fast.
now, you know?
So
Well, and that's the thing. I think because they're having that big event coming up. I think the 24th,
it is the
25th.
24th. So this is the confusing part. So the release of these new bourbons that Hard Truth has was set to release at the distillery on February 24th, and then released to local stores March 1st. It's all over the place already.
Yeah, some people
So,
have already gotten it. Yeah.
I think what happened was these went out to tasting bars with the intent of sampling these, and these people know these people, and they're buying these bottles,
Okay.
which is cool. That's fine. You know someone. That's cool. It's Hard Truth. It'll be around. Like,
Yeah.
This isn't like
It
it's a
won't
new
be
release.
allocated.
It's not an allocated release. So like, let's calm down. But I'm
Well,
sure it's great.
I
Don't
wonder.
go out and pay double for it because
Right.
it'll be on the
No,
shelf.
Just
It
wait.
will.
It'll be there.
Just be patient for a couple weeks
Yeah,
and it'll be okay.
go to the
Traveler.
experience. That's a sore subject.
You said it, man. I did not say that.
That is a sore subject.
Don't
But yeah.
buy Traveler on secondary.
It's $28 at
It's
Kroger.
everywhere.
$28 at Kroger right now. So
Is it really 28?
Yeah.
Which is the lowest I've heard.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Apparently, I found out this morning Chris Stapleton doesn't even drink. Like, he's
Yeah,
I heard that
he's
too.
dry.
so I don't know. Clearly, he didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't his pick. Yeah.
He tasted the water before it
Well, yeah.
went into.
I mean, come on.
Hey, shout out
You
to
could-
Chris for being sober. I'm not knocking that at all.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
Find
but it's February now. Let's get real.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Just kidding.
That's
Dry January is over.
That's a really good thing too. It's funny. We had and again we love the guys from Ash and Elm. They're awesome. We have a lot of their products here, and he brought some samples by. It was literally last couple days of February, or maybe or first day of February, or last day of January, and it was a couple of non-alcoholic options. I'm like, kind of missed your boat there. No one's dry February anymore.
Yeah.
Come on.
Rob, where you at? Did you get into your second over there?
Second, third?
Yeah.
Not quite yet. I'm getting close, but I'm not quite there yet.
I'm
still.
definitely there.
I'm
Yeah.
here. Very good.
Did it calm
It's-
down or did it
It's
stay?
totally mellowed out, which is nice because probably one thing I like more about cigars is the transitions, right?
Yeah.
And if you got a really good cigar, it's fine that it's the same all the way through. That's okay. I have no problem. I've got some that I smoke like that, but when you get one that has a nice transition to it, I fully expect just, kind of thinking about what this is going to do. Really sharp at the beginning, nice, aggressive, totally calms down. I'm expecting by the time we get to the final third, it's probably going to pick back up.
It should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I smoked one yesterday and it did.
Excellent. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm just getting to the point where it's starting to. I mean, you're still getting the pepper and you're getting a little bit of that red pepper and black pepper, but it's more the flavor, not the hit of spice.
Yeah.
So that's
I think
nice.
it's kind of falling off on the red pepper and moving to the black pepper.
It's moving to the
Yeah.
black pepper on
Yeah.
the retro hill for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay,
As I-
that's what I'm getting.
As I
yeah.
get more into the second, third, I'm getting some of like the leathery notes too of, just it's getting a little softer. Like,
Definitely on the palate
yeah,
too. Yeah.
I'm losing a little bit of the red pepper. I'm still getting the black pepper on the retro, but I think I've lost most of the red pepper
And
at this point.
with the rye, it's definitely bringing out a richness in the rye that I didn't taste in the beginning.
It's like a
Yeah.
maple.
A
like
maple or
yeah.
a toffee kind of note, and then the baking spice on the finish just it accentuates the finish of the whiskey, which I love.
Me
I
too.
thought the finish was a little short at first, but now with the cigar, kind of lingers.
Yeah, as it sat and got a little bit of air and yeah.
I will say,
It's great.
finish up your Jacks, 'cause we got a couple other bourbons up here to try from the magnificent palate of Will Breeden,
AKA
Magnificent.
Cocky
Yeah.
Wolverine,
Natty
And-
over here.
and we got the Hail to the we got the Cocky Wolverine. Or you got both bottles, don't you?
both bottles.
Yeah, the Cocky Wolverine, which is the first one you and I were down there, and you did that one when I did the Let's Go Fuel bottle, and then he was down there literally the morning of the national championship game, and boldly named it "Hail to the Victors," and then Michigan came out and kicked some ass.
I had to name
It's a great game.
I had to name it the day before or the day of the game.
I know you
Before
did.
The game started.
Hours before. This
Yeah.
wasn't like in the first quarter. This was like
This was literally
that
like
morning.
5 hours before is when you had the name on it.
that's confidence.
That's a bold
Made the
strategy.
game quite stressful.
It paid off, Cotton.
It paid off, baby.
But I mean, don't go get the tattoo.
I won't.
Like,
Which one?
Well, it actually happened now, but you see all these guys that go get tattoos like before the Super Bowl.
Oh, the block, yeah.
Yeah, they,
He's already got that on his
Don't-
ass. It's fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Can't do that. That's a faux pas, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got cocky on the back of his neck.
No, everyone just knows that. So yeah, I'd like to get into one of those. So you want to do
Tell us
Cocky
about
Wolverine first?
Yeah, so Cocky Wolverine, this is Hail to the Victors.
Okay, gotcha.
This is Cocky Wolverine. So Cocky Wolverine was a blend of 6 barrels, 5 MGP barrels,
Green River? Was that the other one?
and then 1 Green River barrel.
Ooh.
And they're all,
We'll talk about
I think
that.
they were all 5-year bourbons. MGP Nashville was 75, 21, 4. 75 corn, 21 rye, 4 malted barley, and I
a
can't
good
remember
mix.
the Green River mash bill, but
I don't either.
it
The cool thing that they do is, you like you said, you've got 5 barrels of MGP, or 4, whatever you had, 5 or 4. 5. You had 6 total. So 5 MGP barrels. The thing the Bourbon 30 does nice is, they don't just have 5 MGP barrels sitting side by side doing their own thing. They will add toasted staves at different levels and stuff to different barrels to pull different notes out. And you'll be tasting one side by side and they're totally different in their own way. And it just makes a really great blend when you do that. Did you get you some too already?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got a little bit. So I like that. I like the blend that you put into this. And I know I've tried this once or twice, but
Yeah.
it's
very
always
good.
nice to revisit it.
Well, and that's the thing we've talked about before is like when, Will's a little bit leaning more towards the rye spice and stuff, where I lean a little bit more towards the sweeter bourbon notes. So the Let's Go Fuel bottle was definitely a little bit sweeter, where this is a little bit more bright on the spice notes.
I get way more
And
spice
so
on
it
this
definitely hit both of our palates well on them.
and this, I think this one really changes if you're smoking a cigar versus if you're just having a pour at home without smoking. I think it's totally different. When I smoke with it, I get a cherry note that I do not get.
I already smelled
I
cherry.
do not get the
Yeah.
cherry note. I don't get the cherry note when I'm not smoking. I get more of a cinnamon baking spice nose. and
Okay.
A baking spice palate with a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah, and the proof on this one, you remember?
117.
117.
17.
So we went from 100 to 117. I will say 3 of us at this table started with 131 this morning.
Yeah, we had to go try
We tried that old Forester down
single
there.
barrel Forester.
By the way, if you're local, if you've not been to Hacienda Vieja in Pendleton, the Mexican restaurant over there by Needler's,
amazing.
go there. Right now, they've got a couple cases of this Old Forester Bloomington pick that is delicious.
The Crazy Horse.
Crazy
Yeah.
Horse.
Crazy horse. It is so off profile from Old Forester that you don't even, when you're tasting it, you don't even realize this is even close
Not
to Old
over
Forester.
oaked. Has a little bit of a smokiness to it.
It's
lot of
it is
sweet.
aggressive.
Great.
Like it's
Yeah.
a lot of flavors that just really hit
And you're
you.
drinking 131, and honestly, it might have felt like 110.
And this was what, like $10 a pour?
$10, and they
It
do
was
1
either
ounce
10 or 12,
pours.
something like that.
Yeah,
for 1 ounce
it was
pour.
10. It was 10.
Yeah.
$10 for 1
Yeah.
ounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stop by there, man. Get
And
you some
Scott
lunch.
Scott definitely had the pro move on that. If you get it, ask for it in a glass. Otherwise,
They'll give
because
you
they
the
do a
little
lot,
plastic.
they do a lot of shots for like tequilas and stuff. So they might bring out the little plastic shot glasses and stuff.
But they'll give you a rocks glass.
And I will say, they have a shocking tequila collection.
They really, really
Like,
do.
I mean, this is just Pendleton, Indiana, small town, local. Almost every small town has a little local Mexican restaurant. Yeah, their bar is very, very well stocked on the tequila side.
Once they
stuff
added
I
that
had never
bar,
seen.
once they added that bar on,
Yeah.
it just took them to a whole new level because they
Yeah.
used to not have the bar, and when they built that, it's a tequila bar.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
They
Great
got a
place.
couple other things.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of tequila.
Yeah, the owner Antonio does a great job picking. And
Shout out to Antonio.
Shout out to
Antonio.
Antonio. Also, shout out to Andres. He's my favorite
Andres?
bartender there. He's a great
Yes,
guy.
yes. Maya.
there's so many Mexican restaurants around. Like when you find
Hmm.
a good one,
You
you
got to
gotta
stick to it.
with
Yeah,
it.
you got to
Yeah,
stick to it.
That's your go-to.
And it's also one of those places, and I know you'll agree with me on this. It's one of those places where we all know the family now,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the people
they're
that
big in
work
the
there,
community.
and we love all of them. They're
That's the best
amazing
part.
people. There's another new one down here that opened up in the last couple of years that is fine, nothing wrong with that. But I still go to Hacienda because of the people,
Yeah.
and the food's great.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's amazing.
it's nice to support your favorite places like
Yeah,
that.
well, they also supported a bunch of their families because they're all from the same region. They're all from the state of Guanajuato, which I'm a huge fan of Guanajuato. There's Guanajuato City, It's where most of the Mexicans go to vacation.
Is that where you went to vacation?
That's where I went to vacation.
That's what I thought.
Guanajuato. It's in the mountains, 6,000 feet up, and there's only like 2 roads, but it's 30,000 people in that downtown area, 70,000 people out wide, but there's only the 2 roads because it was the original. Yeah, well, it was the Spanish capital, so it's very, very small. Everything's tight, right? All the buildings are very, very close together.
How's their hacienda though?
Dude, their food is all. I mean, everything's fantastic there. Yeah.
Let's talk about Scott going to Mexico, because if Scott steps off the plane in Mexico and he's there for an hour,
He blends in.
He literally turns 3 shades darker.
Oh yeah.
This man carries a tan in the summer like no other.
So if you're from the Pendleton area, you know the name Deshawn. He's the only guy that's dark complected in the entire family.
Yeah, I mean, my dad can.
Your dad, yeah,
pretty
that's
dark,
true.
But yes, I am.
Yeah,
I
he
am
fits
the
in
odd
in
man
Mexico.
out.
It's a chameleon. Changes colors with
Yeah,
the
it
season.
was pretty funny. I was at a town meeting a few months ago and spoke up about something, just local town politics stuff. And I found out later, somebody that knows my family but didn't know me personally says, this big black guy got up and just started like really saying some good things.
It was the middle of summer.
It was the middle of summer, and I get very, very dark. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, when I get off the plane there, you're right. I do turn 3 shades darker, and everybody speaks Spanish to me as if I'm a local. Yeah, they all think I'm just Mexican, and I have to be like,
paso.
no hablo. It's like, sorry, American. Although I'm trying a little bit every now and then. I listen to a lot of Mexican music, and I'm trying to work on my Spanish a little bit.
La Biblio.
So everybody on the YouTube watching the YouTube channel, you'll see the shades of Scott as we get
this summer. Yes. Yeah. Actually,
February.
I'll probably go spend an hour or 2 outside today with the sun, and I will get darker in like the beginning of February.
So tune in next week for shade number 2.
Shade 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to like start doing shades of Scott.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll get a Pantone chart. We'll just compare it.
I like it.
We'll use it for the white balance.
Just start comparing me to cigar colors, right? What's that shade like?
Yeah. Let me know when you start looking
cigar
like a
does
Candela.
Scott match?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never gonna get to Candela stage.
Scott's hung over today. Why? Well, he looks like a Candela.
I must have been out late last night.
He didn't eat before his cigar today, so he's a little green.
So you guys, what do you think of the Cocky?
It's very good.
I like it, man.
I remember
I
I
know
first
I've had
had
it
it and I
before.
loved it. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. You did a
Get
great
the
job.
like candied cherry almost, maybe with some like brown sugar on the finish.
I joke with everybody that it was, top 5 bourbon of 2023.
Yeah.
Named by me, myself, and I.
Exactly. Yeah.
Named by Swampy.
Yeah, but I haven't had
Cocky
anybody
Wolverine.
Cocky
remember?
Wolverine now.
The only thing I regret is that I only made a case of it. I should have gotten 2 cases
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
On the Hail to the Victors, I did do 2 cases, which I wanted Rob to try it because
'cause
you mentioned you may want some, but I
Okay, I'm gonna go on the record right now, before I even try it. We're gonna have this in here
all right.
because I trust your palate, dude.
I think you'll like it. Chris and I tried them both last night, and
Which one won?
We flip flopped on them. I liked Hail to the Victors better, and Chris liked Cocky Wolverine better.
all around, or was it more of a like what set the 2 apart for you?
For me, I feel like Hail to the Victors is more balanced.
Okay. Oh, and that's interesting. So you think this has a little bit more of the rye spice than that one does?
I think that one's just more well balanced bourbon that kind of hits a bunch of different notes. It's 115 proof as opposed to
117.
117, but this one was 6 barrels too. The difference being there's all 6 barrels of MGP, no Green River in this one.
Okay. So you did 6 again in this one.
Yeah.
See you, Dan. Have a good one, bud.
Dan Hand, everyone.
Dan Hand, yes.
I'm not going to comment on there's a note that I do get kind of prominently in this. I think
Celery
I'll
and
need that back
coconut.
over here.
Yeah.
I think
Pass it on.
Scott DeShong will pick up on it.
Oh goodness! All right, let me.
It's definitely a different nose.
Yeah, different nose,
It's a softer nose.
softer nose. I agree with that.
Was it the same 6?
Oh.
Was it the same 6 on the blend or?
No, totally different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right.
I just finished off that Cocky Wolverine, and there is some lovely fruit notes to it.
Yeah.
Just really nice.
Yeah, there's good.
So, let
Wow.
shout out to Isaiah. There is some umami in this one.
Oh goodness!
A little bit of that savoriness going on in that, which is nice.
It seems significantly lighter.
It does. And you said this proof is what?
It's only 2 points lower. Yeah, 115.
115. Okay, so it definitely feels less proofy.
What I get a nuttiness
Yes.
quality to it.
It's almost more like a walnut, the actual nut, not the shell you get on some of them. It's the sweetness of the nut.
Yeah, I do get a nuttiness quality, but I get a savory quality, and I think it's just all around. I like the mouthfeel on it.
I do too. Yeah, because I think
Right up to Sean's alley.
I think cocky is a little bit more drying on the tongue, maybe because of the rye spice.
It definitely.
This one definitely leans on the bourbon side with the with that sweetness and the almost not caramel flavor, but kind of caramely kind of feel on the tongue.
Aaron, who kind of runs the blending department there, he called me after he bottled it. He's like, or he called Steve. He's like, does Will love Knob Creek? And I'm like, and Steve's like, I don't think he does in particular. He's like, this is like Knob Creek. He's like, this is like
On the cocky?
if he
Like-
just made.
Are you talking about like the Flintstone vitamin thing?
No,
Isn't that the Knob Creek, one of the Knob Creek notes, or is that some other one?
Knob Creek's more of it's got a nutty note to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's got that beam kind of nuttiness to me. That
Mine's like shortbread. I'm getting like shortbread
Yeah.
on the nose.
The nose, absolutely. Yeah, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, that's it.
It's like butter cookie on
I
it.
guess
butter
my-
cookie,
I guess
yeah.
my point is, there's a lot of those sweeter, nuttier notes compared to cocky, which is more fruit forward, spicier. I think.
Yeah.
They're just two different.
Earthy,
They're just
yeah.
two different bourbons.
It is. Yeah, this one's a little more earthy than that.
I like this one a little bit better, but I like them both.
I like them both. Yeah.
Put them up. They're just different. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the mouthfeel.
It's right
You
there.
know, that's my thing, and
Yeah,
that's
This is a mouthfeel.
that
Right
is-
there.
It's not quite as buttery as what we had in that Old Forester this morning,
Right.
Yeah.
But it's close.
I'm not gonna say I can compete with 6 barrels of MGP and try to make something that Brown Fork.
But with like the earthiness I'm getting out of this and with the Migdalias, it's a really good pair. I think I like this one better than the Cocky Wolverine.
It's a long finish.
It
it's
really
still
is.
going. I mean, I'm
For
I'm 10
115
plus
like,
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
The fruit on it for me is more like a sweet plum.
Really?
Okay.
I'm getting that kind of sweet plum with the nut going there.
Yeah, I don't get near like the
That's
cherry of
after
the
the
Cocky
smoke.
Wolverine.
After
I
the
don't-
smoke, though, I'm
Yeah.
taking a puff and then went to that. So, and that's the thing. We've kind of talked a little bit about Bourbon 30 before, but you know, anybody can go down there and do this. You can go down there and pay, I think it's like 160, 170, something like that. You get a full tour, you blend your own barrels, and then you get a bottle with that price point. Then you can buy more bottles at a lower cost if you want more than one. So it'd be a fun thing for a bourbon group to go down there and just do something fun like that, man. I think that would be a
ended up with
blast.
chocolate, like a cookie,
Yeah.
like a chocolate chip cookie
there's
between.
a-
it's-
That's a really long
And
finish.
it's
You're
not
right.
drying. It's actually mouthwatering.
It
Yeah.
is very much, yeah. Well done, bud.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
I think I'm with you. I think I like this one better than the Cocky Wolverine.
I do, but by a little bit. I mean, they're just different.
They're
It hits
different,
my-
yeah.
It hits my flavor wheel.
yeah.
It's
gotta-
all that I like.
At
Something
first,
I-
it seemed like super light. Like I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it because it seemed to drink way lighter than 115.
Yeah.
It's got a note. I'm trying to pick out. I think the only way I could probably describe it is like it tastes like championship.
like
It tastes like
hail to the victor.
it tastes like success.
Tastes like success.
Yeah.
Tastes
It's like
like
winners.
it tastes like Harbaugh's getting a new job. I mean,
Oh, don't get me started.
Hey, there we go.
You know,
Is it sports time already?
Kentucky news:
we could talk about some sports
the
stuff.
University of Kentucky lost to Tennessee yesterday in basketball.
ouch.
I'm
The
okay with
University of Louisville
Lost
defeated
another
Florida
game?
State. No, they won.
that. Did they?
Louisville beat Florida State.
We're looking over here at Chris.
Chris is in the house. And
Chris is like, I like
Look,
football. I don't
this-
like basketball.
This was our second win of the year.
Child,
Second win of the year
Oh,
goes to
wow.
Louisville.
So did anybody see how crazy Chapel Hill was last night?
No.
Oh,
North
couches
Carolina, because they beat Duke.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's huge.
yeah.
And
That was a
was
good
that
game.
which they were supposed to. I mean, they were all
They were
going
favored,
crazy.
yeah.
They were
Carolina's a better
favored,
team.
so,
That was a good
yeah.
game. That was a
But
good
it was
game.
a good game.
Yeah, there was a lot of good games on yesterday.
There was a lot.
Minus
of good
the
games.
Florida State Louisville game. That
And
wasn't
I
a
watched
great
some
game.
of the 3-on-3
But Louisville-
hockey as
Dog.
well. It was good.
Honestly,
Oh yeah,
dude,
Florida
was
was
an
an all-star. Yeah,
That was
Yep.
actually kind of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I actually last night I made this comment. I'm like, maybe I'm just being a dick because I'm not a big McDavid fan, and I'm like, McDavid came out in this thing and he was just like, you could just see he was focused. He wanted to win this. Everyone else is like having fun, doing everything else, and
he's just in it.
I heard on the radio today, the NHL channel, they were talking about it. They said the whole All-Star game was basically set in motion by Kachuk or shoot, I can't remember, Kucherov. He comes out first. Kucherov is a Lightning player. He comes out first, and it's the speed challenge, I think it was. And he goes out, and he's just like lollygagging his way around the ice. Everyone starts
just
booing
warming
him.
up.
And he's just like taking his time, and he comes off. Everyone's booing him. He waves to the crowd because everyone was just having fun. Then McDavid gets out there on his, and he's like, he's like really going for it. And they're like, yeah, McDavid actually before the All-Star game was talking about we really need to work hard. We need to do all these skills challenges, stuff like that. Everyone else is like, we're just here to have fun.
Yeah.
And McDavid won.
I'm just here so I won't get
Because exactly,
Yeah.
which is still the best quote in sports
Marshawn
history.
Lynch, woo.
Marshawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of fun. But I will say it was a very fun event.
Yeah, like I was looking back at some of the, like we were watching it while we were doing basketball yesterday, and some of these, I guess I just wasn't paying attention live. As I'm looking back through the lines on ESPN, these scores were like 7-5,
Yeah.
Yeah.
4-9. Like so these scores were
Which sounds like an Avalanche game.
yeah,
Right.
a fuel game when he's not doing that great.
Oh, man.
Oh man, some of these scores were like ridiculous. Like
Well, and I am going to shout out my boy Gorgiev from the Avalanche, the right now number one goalie in the league.
yeah, let's go.
Shut down McDavid 9 shots in a row, baby. Let's go.
You're here.
Let's
Well, yeah,
go.
who was it from the Avalanche that won the slap shot speed? 103 miles an hour.
McCarr.
Yeah, it was McCarr.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, he
I
just
like
slapped that
betting
thing.
him for
No,
a
he hit 104.5.
It was 104. That's right.
104.5. I'm like,
That's
holy.
Yeah, nobody was even close.
I've seen
it was
him. I've
crazy.
seen him barely hit 100 before. I've never seen anybody hit one like that. And he hit 104.5 and then 103.5.
Yes, I think 103.5 was his first one. Then
Ooh.
he backed it up with a 104.
So
crazy.
that's awesome.
That's
But
fast.
I am ready for second half of the season to start.
Cool.
It's time. It's
Yeah,
time.
I had nothing to gamble. I had to gamble UFC last night, which I do anyway. And I lost terribly last night at UFC. It was awful. None of my parlays, nothing. I just big loser. But yeah, I mean, I've been on a roll with
Yeah, I had to stop
hockey.
gambling.
So
And then there was like games on Tuesday, and that was the last game. I'm going,
what
this
we
is
do now?
sad.
I know.
I'm gonna
Well-
start betting on like the Westminster Kennel Club show.
there you go.
It's like
Yeah,
I can't
'cause you
seem to
know
win
about
at
it,
anything.
right?
Just don't bet on cricket. Just don't do that. Trust me.
You got to
Or
wait,
the
you gotta wait
Pittsburgh
2.5
Penguins.
weeks for the game to be over.
Don't bet on the Pens because they won't.
Mike's got,
Shout out Scott.
Yeah,
Mike's got an insight on the herding group.
hey, I will say you're an MMA guy. I know you are.
Yes,
There's a movie I watched this week called Warrior. I think it's on Netflix. Dude, you got to watch it.
Okay, all right.
Fantastic
It's on
movie.
my
I'm
list.
not a huge MMA guy, but that movie was fantastic. I won't spoil it for you. Watch it. You're gonna love it.
There was
Okay,
a fight.
All right.
That
There
was
was a
it.
few fights.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fights actually.
All right.
That's the basis.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Quick UFC update last night. Imavov came out and won, and he was the dog and the main event and came out in the first round. And I don't know how that fight didn't finish. It went the full 5 rounds. But big kudos to apparently they're doing some new stuff with the referees in UFC. So if you're just going to kind of like rest against each other for a minute, because let's be honest, 5 minutes at a time, that's a long time to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're breaking them up now. They're saying,
Oh,
hey,
hell
you
yeah.
either get to work or we're
done.
breaking
Yeah.
you up. And so they
Yeah, I'm not paying you to hug.
exactly. I'm not, and you're
Yeah.
kind of sitting there as a fan. You're like,
That's
man,
a really
3
expensive
minutes
hug.
of hugging.
It's a really
Yeah,
expensive
that gets
hug.
old.
in a round. So they did a good job. I liked the change last night. If anybody else is an MMA fan,
Yeah,
I'm sure that there's some positive thoughts on that one.
Okay.
Especially sometimes
I'm not big into it.
yeah.
I never really have been.
Yeah, it's
I'll watch the highlight on Facebook when they post the 9-second KO
right
because I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You're going to pay hundreds of dollars for pay-per-view for a 15-second KO.
Yeah, you got to come over to my house.
They're
we
gonna post
do
that
it
shit the
right.
next day. Like
They do, but
we'll go to your house. We'll
you
sous
just
vide
come
some
over.
stuff. We'll
I buy them all.
I got a
love
bottle
it.
of Camus. We'll bring it over.
Hey, perfect.
There you go.
Make it happen.
Yeah. Hey, I'm always doing every single time I have a UFC night at my house. There's one like standard thing we do, and it's always I get shrimp cocktail with St. Elmo's cocktail sauce.
Oh, my man.
Every single
That's it.
time.
That's it.
What's the matter, Will? Not a fan?
I love it. It's
so
addictive.
good.
It is the best pain in the world.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
I don't follow it, but whenever I watch it, I'm intrigued and I like watching it. It's fun watching a couple guys beat the hell out of each
It
other.
always is a good time.
And I'll tell you what, if you
That's why
want to
we're
watch
hockey fans.
if you want to watch something brutal, watch the women.
Oh yeah. Yo, they will.
They don't stop. They just go. It's
Yeah.
like-
Oh,
So
it's crazy.
I
So-
never, ever bet against a Brazilian woman.
oh yeah.
The only time a Brazilian woman lost last night was when she was fighting another Brazilian. But yeah, dog came out.
Brazil
plus-
still won.
Plus 260, I think, and she won. And I told that was one that I did. I didn't bet that one individually. It was parlay, and the next fight I lost.
Ah.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But don't bet against Brazilian women ever.
Well, and right now, which by the time this airs, it'll be over. But the TPE is going on. Actually, it might be over.
I think
now.
yesterday it ended.
Yesterday was the end.
Yeah. What's today? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was over.
Yeah, so TPE's happened, so you're going to probably start seeing some of the TPE releases coming
It's
out.
coming.
The one that kind of intrigued me, which I was kind of surprised about, is what's his name, Billy Gibson, or Billy Gibbons. I'm sorry, I should have had that right.
Top.
ZZ Top.
Yeah.
He has actually got his own brand of cigars coming out. Now I will say we're back to the whole celebrity price point. 5 cigars in this pack, which is 2 different cigars and some different sizes.
$300.
$300. It's a humidor box with those 5 cigars, which honestly,
And a lighter, right?
A humidor with a
A Zippo.
Zippo.
Oh,
But they
and
did
Zippo.
change out the insert to a torch.
They did.
so-
They changed out the torch, and
That's
it's
a
also
$20
signed by. It's also signed by ZZ Top, so it's kind of cool
Yeah,
that way
okay.
too.
All
So
right.
that's a
you get
collector's
memorabilia.
piece.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get
But
memorabilia.
you're talking $60 a cigar and a humidor that you'll never use because it's 5 cigars in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me 10 sticks.
I mean, we were talking about that. You
At
know,
least 10. I mean, you're
these-
$30
yeah, these
still.
higher price point cigars. Like, I don't know if there's one that I would really like.
But the
That's
intriguing.
memorabilia.
It is.
That's different.
That's for the ZZ Top lover, but you're gonna buy one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a sustainable brand that way.
Yeah.
But what he is doing is he's doing these little what are they, 3-pack? Yeah, 3-pack basically gas station cigars. They're flavored cigars.
White grape, white owl, baby.
MSRP's $2.49 for these 3 little cigars. They're probably like little swishers. And that's
Little
fine.
cigarillos.
And honestly, I see him probably taking off more in that than he will in the other stuff. We'll see. I mean, you never
I
know.
actually kind of want to try it. For $2.69, I'm like, it's going to be flavored. I'm not a flavored cigar guy.
I couldn't do it.
I'm not
I
either.
don't know.
I
Look,
used
if I
to
take
buy.
a couple puffs and it's terrible, then you just are done with it. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you guys see them,
$2.69,
if you
so
guys see some, grab
I'll-
some.
I'll
We'll
buy it,
bring them
yeah.
on the show.
I used to buy the CAO tins.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
the 10 in a little 10 pack. They were like vanilla. I don't like flavored stuff either. But I got into those when, like, holidays. I go home. No one else in my family smoked. So, like, I'm sitting outside in the cold. I'm smoking. I'm having a pour. I don't want to sit out there for 2 hours and do it by myself. Like, nobody wants to hang out with me. So, like, I'll go out there. I'll have one of the little cigarillos. And then, like, my brother would come hang out with me or something. Like, that was what I took to holidays.
That's a
But
good
then,
call.
yeah, so, like,
Just a short smoke.
yeah, it was a good short smoke. But then I found other stuff like the Aladino, the lounge exclusive here is, smaller. The
Yep.
La Galera
Yeah.
Imperial Jade's got
Yeah.
a Chiquito Perfecto. Like, so some of those are great too, but I just don't know the market for these cigarillos anymore because they've changed so much and some of the acid stuff
Yeah.
and like the flavored stuff. I don't know who are you reaching?
Well,
I got a
I
couple
will tell
friends
you.
that they smoke them. They're former cigarette smokers.
Yeah.
And it's a bridge, I
they've-
guess. Like,
and that's
they're
the thing
getting
is
into
like
it.
they're, for them, they want to go out and have a quick smoke.
Yeah.
Right?
And
They're
honestly,
used to
during the
having a
winter,
quick
for
smoke.
sure. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, we've sold a crap ton of those little baby Alice or baby Janes in the
yeah,
in the
okay.
tin. You get 10 of them in a tin.
Yeah.
We sell a lot of those. We sold the La Galeras, which reason why I brought them in here is because it was the first little bitty traditional cigarillo that had good flavor. We brought those in, sold those well, and
that was
then
one Scott yelled at me.
Those clove ones, actually, I was shocked that they're selling, and they're cheap.
Are they really good?
And they're cheap.
Okay.
They're super cheap.
Okay.
I mean,
clove.
they're like 50 cents a
Not my
piece,
flavor,
but they're like a box of 20 of them. It's like this is great. So
People
$9.
that smoke them love them.
Yeah.
They
absolutely
do.
love them. That's
I mean, that's
their
your
jam.
thing. Like, yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't do them, but people like them, and
It's like pipes,
that's
you
the
gotta
only
have the
three I
flavor.
got. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Top me off, father. So, real quick, with the Cocky Wolverine, you said there was some Green River in there. Let's talk about Green River real quick, because they
No, Cocky had
yeah,
you're
the
right,
Cocky
yeah.
Wolverine had the Green River in it. So they just released their rye.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that blew my mind. Like, I saw Jack talking about it, the Hood Sommelier. Shout out
Shout out to Jack, baby.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this stuff's $35.
Yeah, so
for the
that's
Green
going to
River
be
rye.
that Green River is going to be. It's not going to be the BBC juice that they're putting away now. It's going to be Jacob and Ron Call's juice before they sold to Barstown. But blending it, everyone at Barstown is basically blending it. So it's Call juice being blended by BBC, and
Collaborative.
They do
Yeah.
the best blending. There was
That's awesome.
That parting of ways between the Calls and BBC didn't go great, unfortunately. But
But it seems like it's resurrecting on the positive side, though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
after the separation, like, it really seems like it's
Yeah,
going in the
well,
right direction.
well,
It could have gone way worse.
Jacob's they've got their own distillery running now. They're going to start, and they're working with Hemingway, down in.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
So they're going to be doing the Hemingway rye.
Hmm.
They're distilling that for Hemingway, and they're doing their own thing. They're going to do some source contracting, stuff like that, and they do an excellent job.
Yeah.
They're very knowledgeable, very good distillers.
I'm happy with that. I like what they're doing,
Yeah.
and I like the price point they're bringing this stuff at.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, with the Jack Bonded Rye, you have a really complex rye here.
Yeah.
That's coming in at a really good price point. And same with the Green River Rye.
Yeah.
Like, you have this more complex rye than just like High West. Nothing against High West. I love High West rye. I love some of the other ryes that are out on the market right now. But some of these Jack Bonded, Green River, they're just have way better profiles than I ever thought they would have.
Yeah.
Like, I talk a lot of crap about some of the Jack products that they have. And some of the Brown Foreman products, and it's just a sore spot for me. Everybody's got their own little
Oh,
bone
yeah.
in their
Oh,
pot.
yeah.
Brown Foreman's one for me because I think they're missing a lot on their markets. So I want them to do better with things like this. This comes in at the everyday consumer price.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you can, and it's not hard to find. Like
No.
it's not that special release. Like,
This-
it's an annual release. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna come.
Has Barstown, when you think about Barstown Bourbon Company's line, hey, I don't think they've ever done a rye. I mean, not in my head. I can't think of it.
I can't think
I
of
don't know
one.
one. Yeah.
This is Barstown's
Maybe they-
kind of
yeah.
version of let's get a rye to market.
Right.
that we know we've got stock of.
Yeah.
And I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to trying it. And I'm sure
I've only heard good things. If Jack's raving about that stuff, then
Yeah.
it's got to be good. He's got an amazing palate. So.
And Bardstown is another one of those brands, kind of like Barrel, that have, everything that was coming out special was coming out at that $160, $180 price point. They're starting to back off on that a little bit too,
What's
which is nice to see.
The Heritage line?
Something like
What's
that.
the other one? It's their cheaper one. It's
You
like
got-
45 to 60.
You got the Discovery Series, you got
Origins.
Origins.
So that's coming in a little cheaper. But
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to have to spend that $160, $180
Yeah.
to get to try the Bardstown juice anymore.
Sure.
That's nice to see. The other one, we talked about, Barrel. Their prices are coming down too. I don't know where I was going somewhere else.
But we
with that.
talked
I
about
forgot
the
it.
so
glad to hear about Barrel
So
coming
bringing
out.
up
Me
Barrel
too.
stuff though,
Great
we talked. They're going to bring their price. What do they do with all this stuff that they have?
That's the thing
already.
Yeah, because
So like Total Wine's got their glass case. Everybody's got their glass case.
and that's the
with
thing.
Barrel
Those
products in there.
those gold bottles were $4.99.
Yeah. They can't.
So-
they can't take those down. They've
They
already
can't.
paid for it.
They have to sell them first. I mean, you've already
think they're going to go anywhere.
They're
The
just
only-
going to have to eat it.
So do you put? Do you?
They're either
lower
gonna
the
have to
price?
eat it, or maybe what? And honestly, I wouldn't put it past Barrel. Barrel may give them a credit.
Yeah.
They could. Yeah, they probably would.
But
And to
maybe
sell
throw
the
a right
product.
to
It's not a credit. It's a discount on future purchase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
It's exactly that.
It's a voucher at that point.
Yeah.
But,
So
but I've never.
that would
seen,
be the
like,
best thing to do.
Total Wine does the right to buy. Well, they used to. Every once in a while, they do a right to purchase with a lottery. So maybe throw that in there. Like if that's
True.
one that's in there, like I might I might do that. I mean, there's some of the other ones that show up at Right to Buys that
Total
I'm not
Wine's
really interested in. So
pretty much points based now. Though.
yeah.
Are they really? Okay. I didn't realize that.
It's reserve, grand reserve. I can't remember the
The
names
stepping
of the
stones are
tiers.
ridiculous though. It's like 4,000 points, 8,000,
Or
15,000.
Basically, you got to buy everything that you buy. You got to buy from Total Wine, and you may get blends like Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's at right now, or a Weller 12, or
Right.
something like that. But
Unless you go to Meyer and you just find it on the shelf.
So, guys, I did try something new, and I sent it to you. None of you had heard of it. It's this Ingram.
looking at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I kind of feel a little bit of the Jefferson's Ocean.
Yeah, that was like
rip-off.
the rip off of the
Yeah,
ocean.
because they're river aging it on the Mississippi River, which is kind of interesting.
So it's
because-
inland aging.
Yeah. But the idea was there was a lot of bourbon that got shipped down to New Orleans, and they're very
the start.
local, right? They're only in states on the Mississippi River, and they're in New Orleans. And I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with it. It's an interesting product. If anybody out there has tried this Ingram River aged,
Did you get it down in
drop
New
a comment.
Orleans?
It was in New Orleans. It was at Cuban
Cuban Creations?
Creations.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was right there next to the Green River bottles on the shelf. It was about the same price point, and I was impressed. I was impressed. And it is
this
their
a
own
newer-
distillate.
is this
They're
a
not-
newer
It
one?
is newer.
Okay.
It is their own distillate, and
Where are they based out of?
man, it's in Kentucky on the Mississippi River. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, you might be able to find it there on the website.
So is that-
But
Geographically, does that run through Western Kentucky?
it's Western Kentucky.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. I mean, it's right. I forget what the name of the town is, but I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with that, because it was interesting story, and just another distillery starting out there. But I always like finding something you've never seen before.
There's a couple of
Yeah.
new distilleries in Western Kentucky that are coming online. Jackson's Purchase has been open now for several years. They've been putting away juice,
Yeah.
and that's going to be that's Craig Beam, and I can't remember the other distillers, but he was from Maker's Mark.
Okay.
Apologize, can't remember his name, but they've been putting away whiskey now for I think 3 years. So they're going to be releasing something, I would imagine, either later this year or 2025 for sure.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That it's going to be good.
And you got a beam involved. It's going to be
Oh,
good
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
These boys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
They're-
another one that I've talked about the last couple episodes was Old Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You've told me about
in
those
Lawrenceburg. Yeah. So they're resurrected again.
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. I know one of the guys that as one of the investors in that they are experimenting with a honey barrel finish, and they've already barreled up quite a few.
Okay, good.
Honey barrel.
Yeah, they're like, that's not new to the market, right?
Yeah.
It's all honey barrel, but it's cool to see somebody like Commonwealth be resurrected again after
Yeah.
like what their past has brought. And then you sent out the Diageo thing with Port Ellen reopening. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Oh, man.
Do you guys have a lot of information about
Yeah.
that?
Well,
Okay. No, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No. With Diageo, like, I mean, they got so much going on. Like, this was like a $380 million or euro. I don't know what the conversion is, but it was a pricey resurrection to bring Port Ellen back online. Like, it hadn't been since what, like 1983 or something? Like, it had been years since they put out a
I think
product.
what I was bringing up about Diageo was that it was either their fourth quarter stock or their first quarter. It had to be the fourth quarter drop 23%,
Yeah.
which was a lot of speculation. The rumor going around is that their stock dropped because
Try to
been a
take the
lot of-
short.
been a lot of published papers now for all of these weight loss drugs like Mounjaro and Ozempic coming out, and there is a side effect from taking that drug. Obviously, weight loss, glucose, blood glucose, stabilization, but there is a lessening of alcohol cravings, and a lot of the people that are taking this drug are stopping or quit drinking, and there's a lot of people on Ozempic right now. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I think there is a concern from shareholders that and I'm not talking about bourbon, I'm talking about just spirits in general.
Yeah.
That there's going to be a fallout from maybe people drinking less.
So I had heard about
I don't
this.
know.
I'd heard about this early on, both for drinking and actually for smoking.
Yep.
Like nicotine addiction in China, they're using these
Yep.
drugs to do that. Different government, different regulations, so they may move faster and, trying to address some of these things in the public. But absolutely, alcoholism, binge drinking, cigarette smoking, nicotine addiction, they're using those same drugs, not just for weight loss, but for that reduction in,
The sample
Interesting.
sizes, these drugs haven't been to market, in the terms of publishing a scientific peer-reviewed journal. There's not enough data out yet, but you're starting to see more and more peer-reviewed published medical, papers coming out that talk about these craving reductions in alcohol consumption and, nicotine and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. And we don't discourage drinking.
We think it's good for
Unless you have a problem, then don't
Get
do
help.
it. Then get
Seriously,
help.
get
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
If it's messing up your life, get help.
Get help. Yeah.
Yeah. You can enjoy a cigar with, and we were talking about this at the 101,
yeah.
about drinks that you could have, and it wasn't even a pairing discussion. I know it's coming up in like week 3 or something.
Something like that. Yeah. 3 or 4.
But there was a couple guys that one of them drinks, but he wasn't drinking that night, and one of them doesn't drink at all.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't drink at all, he was drinking ginger beer.
Yeah.
And I thought, boy, with the cigar that I was having,
Dr. Scott,
it was
Dr. Peppers all the time.
Exactly.
Beer,
The Dr.
like-
Pepper cream soda is a big one.
Going back
Yeah.
to Jack, like Jack is one of those guys that, he doesn't smoke cigars regularly. He
Yeah.
will enjoy a
Because his
cigar.
palate. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got a job,
He has
career
a
that's based on his
specific
palate.
palate
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is calibrated to the whiskey,
Yep.
and he feels that cigars ruin his palate to give an honest review of a bourbon or a whiskey.
Yeah,
Well,
what did
and
he
he
say?
flat
I
out told
understand.
us
10 days, something like
it's
that.
usually a week, at least a week.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is,
Which is that-
he literally,
that's a
if he
good
smokes a
point.
cigar, he does not do any reviews for
the
at least a
following
week.
Yeah.
Which he said
Because-
he enjoys a cigar.
He
just
loves
can't-
cigars.
He just can't do it because his job is
Yep.
his palate.
And to Jack's credit, when he does barrel picks, he specifically brings a cigar smoker on his picks because he wants that cigar smoker in there on
That's
the
a good
pick
idea.
to pull out
That's a great
flavors
idea. Yeah.
that he's not going to get.
And that's a great point too. Is like if you're in some kind of a bourbon club or a bourbon group that picks or a store that picks, it's easy to get involved with just like I'm taking my buddies on the pick and we're gonna pick something great. A lot of times, buddies that hang out together do all the same things. It's always great to get
develop the
people
same palate,
different
like,
palates
Yeah.
on there. Someone that's a smoker, someone that's not a smoker. It's always good to do that because you're going to get a wider range of the palate, and you're
Sure.
someone that doesn't smoke at all is going to tell you things, and as you're drinking, you're like, damn, I didn't even catch that in the
Right.
bourbon. And you'll be able to actually pull things out differently because of somebody else on there. So that's a good point. That's a very good point.
It's hard to unanimously pick a barrel pick.
It is.
Any
Like
barrel.
I mean, it happens,
Rare.
rare, but it happens. Sometimes it's Elijah
Spiritual
Craig.
French Lick. That was a
Spirits of
slam
French Lick.
dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone got the same
Sometimes
ones.
it happens, but other times you need those unbiased opinions. My wife Jen, she doesn't smoke, so like she's got a really like clean palate every tasting that she goes to because
Yeah.
she has no smoker's
bias.
palate. She has
Yep.
no bias
Yeah.
to
Yep.
this as to where we're looking at it from. What cigar am I going to pair with this today?
Now, I will say for someone like me, a cigar lounge, I'm going to lean heavily on the cigar smokers
Right.
in that. But
Because
I
that's
still
your
want,
suggestion.
But that's exactly because
Right.
we're talking about pairing it. We're not talking about just drinking it.
Right.
Now, down the road, if we're able to start, selling bottles at some point down the road, obviously we want to think about that
You need
more.
to be a little more middle ground at that
little bit
point.
more
Yeah,
middle
sure.
ground. Yeah.
No, I get that.
Something else that's coming up. We're tomorrow. We're going up to Whiskey Acres. Eric Jansen, our boy, shout out.
Shout out.
He
out to Eric.
he actually set this up probably 2-3 months ago now because we finally got into it. We're going to go up there and we're going to do a tasting and talk to them, and we're excited. I'm excited to meet them. This is something Eric really introduced all of us in Central Indiana to Whiskey Acres.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Because that's basically his hometown.
Yeah.
And I'm
very
excited to
heartfelt.
get up there and meet him and try through some of their stuff. And we'll bring back at least a bottle to try on the show to share about that too. Cause
So hopefully next episode we'll be doing a Whiskey Acres pairing.
We will.
So on the 11th we'll be doing a Whiskey Acres pairing.
And speaking of pairings, you know, what we're doing, and we've said this before, but just to reiterate that this week, the first week of the month is always going to be our pairing that's going to go up on the board. That pairing is the whiskey or whatever we're drinking. I mean, it could be coffee, whatever, and a cigar, and you get 10% off on that pairing the entire month. The rest of the weeks, we're still going to be pairing. We're still going to be talking about the pairings.
It's just going to be
those are just going to be ones. So
Yeah.
that's why you'll see things like Whiskey Acres that's not distributed yet in Indiana. But
we're hoping to get it.
But we will get it eventually.
Yeah. We're hoping.
And so we'll be talking about different things like that around the industry. Even cigars. We'll bring cigars in here that we don't have
Some
yet.
samples.
To try.
Yeah.
You know, so that's going to be fun for the last
So we want to
3 to
spread
4
knowledge,
weeks a month.
like all around. We want to make
Exactly.
sure that everybody understands that there's not one cigar for every person.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different. There's not one whiskey for everybody.
And that's a good
Everybody
point
has
too.
their own palate.
Anybody that's listening to this, if you ever have something that you're like, you know, I found this bourbon and I think it's the most amazing thing ever, or cigar,
I
or
wonder
whatever.
how that would pair.
You
Let us know.
if you
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
that,
comment,
if
hit
you
us up on social media.
let us know, because and if it's not a bottle we can get and you have enough to give us a, 2, 3, 4 ounces or something like that of it to share on the podcast and talk about it, we would love to do that, because we really want to promote brands that are doing amazing stuff across the industry. And honestly, of course I love the big dogs. Heaven Hill's still my baby. I love everything Heaven Hill does. I love a lot of the stags. I love a lot of that stuff. But I'm really digging the craft industry right now. The craft industry is taking everything to another level. They're even challenging the big dogs. I mean, you never saw finishing until the small guys.
Not even finishing too. Like a lot of these, local brands that are expanding out are getting more into their own distillate than sourcing. So that's big.
Yeah, if you find a craft distiller and you really like their product, buy it.
Tell us.
Support them.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes,
get outside of your comfort zone and try craft. You'll really be pleasantly surprised.
And there's
at what
ways,
you try.
there's ways to try this. Like we do tastings up here all the time, and some of those are craft. Like, just if you haven't been to the lounge, come to the lounge, sign up for the mailer.
Yeah,
we send it out, and once a month you'll get the mailer, and
that's weekly.
A weekly.
Yep,
that's
weekly.
even better.
Yep.
All these events change. Like everything's fluid.
Yeah.
We add stuff every single week.
Yeah.
It's
And
a lot.
I'll add to that like Will and I travel quite a bit for work.
Yeah.
Mike, I know you have to travel a little bit, right? So even if there's a lounge out there that you really like, right? Please
do.
This is about promoting, the
Small
whole
business.
community and small business. And when I'm on the road, I don't want to just go find, a blend, or, I know where they're at, or Burn, or some of the bigger ones. I'd like to go visit some of these local shops and lounges and the mom and pops and support them while we're out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be able to come back and talk about them. So if you've got one that's your place, let us know.
Yeah.
If we're in the area, we'll definitely stop by and visit.
Well, that's the thing. Probably between the 4 of us, these two travel a lot.
Yeah.
And if there's one in their territory, they would love to probably stop and check out someplace new. I mean, I know you guys both go to cigar lounges and distilleries wherever you guys go.
We go all over. I mean, Scott and I travel all over the country.
Yes.
So if there's somewhere some craft distillery in some obscure part of the country, odds are Scott and I may be passing close enough by there that we could get.
Let us know. We'll go.
Let
us know.
Yeah, because I mean that's one thing we want to start doing a little bit more of is doing some on-site stuff with distilleries and cigar lounges and stuff like that. I'm not here just to promote us. I'm here to promote the brand or the lifestyle, the culture of this, and we'll definitely talk about them. But let us know those. But we really want to engage you guys because we were looking, and Mike's done a really good job of pulling up on analytics and stuff like that. We've seen that. We've got a wide range of people all over the country and several from around the world.
Yeah, we've got 6 or 7 countries.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Like our boys up in Canada.
Yeah.
Luke and the boys up
Shout
there.
out, Luke.
If he actually gave us sent us a pour of the Canadian Club pick or something up there, and we tried it. Very good.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do a Canadian whiskey one time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd actually love
pander.
if we had 2 or 3 Canadian whiskeys on here to try.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So,
Yeah.
Luke, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know some of the ones you have up
some
there.
Of the best in the world.
But let us know some of your favorite distilleries in Canada, because obviously down here we don't see a lot of Canadian whiskey. You see the basics.
mainstreams, yeah.
But let us know some of those, and if we can get it down
Send
here,
us some
great.
recommendations.
But if we can't get it, we might hit you up to send us a sample or so, and we would
Also
definitely check
Irish,
them out.
Because man, we did that
Irish
tasting
is
with
great.
Jack, and
Yeah.
and he brought some whiskeys,
Yeah.
some single
world
malts,
whiskeys.
not bourbons, but
Yeah.
single malts that were
And
fantastic.
Luke, we'll send you some local stuff, here that we found that you probably will never be able to get your hands on up in Canada. And
Yeah.
be happy to send you some samples and let you try some stuff.
Absolutely.
We're,
Yeah.
We're trying to grow. We're trying to grow the
We'll
culture.
do it legally, of course.
of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Through the
course,
balsamic
hot sauce.
business.
Right.
Yeah, the balsamic business. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's where
yes.
it goes.
Yes.
But yeah, we're trying to
when
grow
you
the
ship
brand.
Beer,
We're trying-
is
yeah.
called a yeast sample.
Yeah.
Right? I'm shipping yeast
Yeah.
samples.
Well,
we
we-
just want
Olive oil.
everyone
Olive oil.
to try. We want everyone to try new things. Like
Exactly.
That. And that's the whole point. Is we want everyone to don't. Everybody's gonna listen to their podcast. Everybody's gonna
Yeah.
listen to what they want to listen to and be influenced by who they want to be influenced by. But you got to develop your own palate for this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well, and there's
that's
so
our
much going
point.
on that's
Yeah.
so unique in places.
Yeah.
The stuff that's
It's-
come out of Missouri
Oh, yeah.
that I know that both you guys kind of,
Yeah.
really started hammering down on that. And there is some incredible
Wood
stuff.
Hat,
Yeah.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Jay
Fantastic.
Rieger.
Jay Rieger, yeah.
They're really, Missouri's just.
And the
killing
cool thing about that is, we were talking to Jack, and we all have had some of the Ben Holiday stuff, and we liked it. Jack was telling us, like, this is going to be the big dog coming in 2024.
I was drinking the proof.
And you
the
know
other
what
day.
happened in January? Almost every podcaster, every
Was doing Holiday.
reviewer of bourbon and stuff like
Yep.
that said Holidays is the next one.
Oh,
to
it's
lead.
coming.
You remember I
It's
texted
good,
you. I
and
was
it's
down at Match, down there in Jeffersonville, just across the river from Louisville. And I texted you. I was like, they had not even opened the bottle. It was just sitting there, Ben Holiday, bottled and bond. And I said, hey, give me a pour of that. I tasted it. I was like, holy shit,
good.
this is really good.
I'll get you in
Yeah.
trouble for $12 for 2 ounces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
and that's
I
the
will.
thing too. Like the
Yeah.
regular two we have on the bar. We got the soft red wheat, which I need to get more of, and we've got the bourbon,
bourbon,
which
the
and they're
proof.
both called. They call theirs Rickhouse proof. It's barrel proof. It's the same thing. They're both at 120 proof. This is not,
good.
and this is a basic release. A lot of the 120 proof stuff
Yeah.
you're getting is a special release. This is their regular stuff, and it's delicious.
So
Soft
that's
red- the soft red wheat is.
It's like
it's
it was like
great.
71
So are we
MSRP.
starting to see
Something like that, yeah.
the propagation of more barrel proof out there? Because I know for a long time it was kind of
I hope
Indiana,
so.
Ohio, Kentucky was kind of the heart of the barrel proof stuff. And you got, you start hearing from distributors and they're saying
West Coast is still stuck.
West
on
Coast
the-
is still 80 and 90.
Really,
proof.
everything
Yeah,
from
okay.
middle to the west is definitely in that 90
Is
proof
Texas
range.
going a lot more barrel proof? Are they?
They are.
Okay,
They are,
So,
yeah.
So we're starting to see it. That's, you had the big craft beer boom that came from California, and they were doing big, doubles and triple IPAs and
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. So maybe it's a little opportunity to kind of get our fellow drinkers out there on the West Coast. Hey, let's try some of this stuff.
And that's
This
the
barrel
thing
proof is
too.
good.
There's nothing wrong with a good 90 proof bourbon.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. What we typically say is, and honestly, we are proof hounds, but I feel like a lot of times you get it down to 90 proof, you lose a lot of complexity. But there's a lot of people that put it in the barrel at 100, 105 proof. I mean, look at Starlight.
Yeah.
Their stuff goes in a lower proof, and they get barrel proof at 105, 106 proof. It's going to have all those same oils and flavors in it because you're not watering it down.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Right.
But again, your palate's what you like.
And there have been some of those 110s that we've put a couple drops of water and bring it down to that 100 range.
Still
that
perfect.
it's amazing.
But
Yeah,
it'll stick
yeah.
with it. Like, those are the ones that will hold up to some water or a cube. A lot of
Exactly.
people like
Yeah.
drinking with a cube.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. But there's certain things that don't do as well with water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you add outsourced water.
Water. There are molecules in the oak, that are going to interact with water more than they are than with alcohol.
Sure.
So if you do a lower proof entry, you're going to get different flavors interacting from
with
the
the
wood
higher.
interaction
Yeah.
with the water versus the alcohol that you're not going to get. That's why Michter's, no one will argue here, Michter's does phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
They're
Yeah.
one of the lowest barrel entry proofs in the business.
Yep.
Yeah,
And they've got
Some other stuff.
don't get me started.
It's-
That's another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be a whole.
We'll do a
episode.
10-year toasted or something.
Oh man,
We should. Yeah.
I got that one. I'll bring that one in.
Yeah, the
If Jen will let me.
barrel proof rye.
Yeah.
which is just impossible to find. I mean, it's
Toasted 10.
It's ridiculous. I used to go and buy barrel proof rye for $65 10 years ago from
Yeah.
Michter's, and it was just
I
it was
wish it was still
everywhere. It was a
65.
Big Red. It was a anywhere that was local around here that was a decent liquor store. You could just go find it. Now, no, it's. I had a pour at the Executive Lounge.
Yeah.
Outside of Louisville. Great
Shout
little
out to the
place.
boys down there.
Yep,
Yeah,
shout out.
Executive.
out.
It's a nice place. Small.
It is.
It's small, but
they'll
it's,
treat
you know what?
good.
They
Yeah,
also
they're nice
they've
guys.
got like a great. I think it's their Thursday crowd or something. They get completely packed. It's out the door. It's people on the sidewalk. They got outdoor seating
Yeah.
right there. It's right off the interstate.
A lot of Louisville people come across because you can't smoke inside in Louisville.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
go over to
Match
Executive.
Executive.
Match and
Match,
Executive.
match,
yeah.
yeah, match across the river and Executive about 20 minutes outside of town in Kentucky. And
Oh,
it's-
matches. That's right.
Yeah, matches
Yeah.
in Jeffersonville.
Riverside match,
and
whatever you
or
call it.
Riverside.
Riverside's
yeah,
the bar, match is
right,
the
is the cigar
lounge, but-
lounge. Yeah, and then
Gotcha.
Executive is just about 20 minutes east of Louisville on I-64,
Outside of the.
outside of Louisville proper.
Right, right,
It's
right.
at
'Cause
the
they can't do
base
a
of the
lounge in
mountain on the
Louisville.
way to Starlight.
Yeah, it's
the best way.
And
The
it's a great
office
little
is over
lounge.
there,
They
too.
had it there, and I mean, it was like $14.
Yeah.
Sure.
I said, I'll take a double because I haven't
And those
seen
are the
it in
type
5
of places.
years.
Those are the type of places we're talking about when we say we travel and we want to go see these
Yeah.
places. Those are the type of places. We want to see brick and mortars that are family owned, that
Absolutely.
are local places. Like Blend's cool. It's a nice
Oh,
place.
I love Blend.
That's great.
Corey's a
Yeah.
great guy.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
Yep.
Burn is a cool spot
Yep.
if you like to put on a nice shirt.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
they're a chain. It's everywhere. Like
Yeah.
we want to see these.
I'll go to Burn at 2:00 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
not at 10:00 at night.
Right, right.
Nikki Blaine's,
and that's
you know,
that
like-
shows our
Right.
age. You know, I'm
Yeah.
It does.
a
It's-
25-year-old
it's
that
gonna
wants to
love
smoke
it.
cigar and drink and listen to loud
Sure.
music. It's going to have a blast.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
But there's also these other ones like Harbor, like we went to.
Oh,
We've
dude.
talked about them a couple times.
Loved Harbor.
Yeah.
And it's
Destin.
literally a small little cigar
Yeah.
shop.
It's just a hole in the wall place.
But
you
in
know.
Destin, Florida, you can sit outside and smoke
Right.
all year long.
You can go get a bottle of wine from the wine shop next door.
Yeah.
And sit outside.
You know,
and,
the other part I like about visiting these brick and mortar lounges is you're visiting the community there, right?
You are.
It's,
Yeah.
It's really not any different than going to the round table at the local breakfast joint
sure.
at 6:00 in the morning. And,
Yeah.
And you just get a chance to interact with the community. And especially a community of people, interested in bourbon or other whiskey and
It's like-minded
interested in
people.
cigars.
Yeah.
It's
It's
exactly
like-minded
right.
people.
And you get to kind of find out what's interesting down there. What are
Yeah.
they talking about? What is it that's really making them step up and take notice of the industry and what's going on? And
Sure, because hopefully they're invested in their distillates
Yeah.
as much as we are. Like we want to see local brands grow. We want to see, places like West Fork do well. We want to see,
Yes.
new brands coming
Absolutely.
out and coming forth with their own distillate, not Source.
Yeah.
Nothing against Source. We all know that we like Source.
Love Source.
stuff.
A
So,
lot of
I
people
mean,
have to do it to start.
Yeah.
You can't come out and wait for 4 years.
Sure, but
So-
I mean, it's a time and a place.
So I think we need to do Super Bowl predictions.
yes, we do.
Yeah.
We need to get
Yeah,
into
we need
that.
to we need to do a round. I'm gonna have to write these down. I think I'm gonna take Super Bowl predictions from everybody. We'll see.
Now, are we doing
how
just
we do
straight
this.
winner, or are we going against the points? Because it's a 2.5 spread right now.
Oh, I've
Right?
seen.
San Francisco's favorite.
Nah,
by
we just
2.5.
we got to do straight up.
Yeah,
Pick.
it's-
Straight
swear I
up
lose a
money
lot of
line.
money.
Money line.
Yeah, I'm going San Francisco.
All right, Mike's San Fran.
I'm going 49ers.
So I'm
You got
going
Mr.
Chiefs.
Irrelevant there. Like that,
I agree, and that's
one of
that's
the
my
lowest
problem.
starting.
He stepped up every single game. It's been impressive the way he's been able to do it, and I'd love to see San Francisco win just for that
The
reason.
lowest paid starting quarterback.
I'm
Mr.
gonna take,
Irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm going to take the
2023.
Swifties. Okay, last week, Kelsey.
Swifties.
Seriously, he finally got out of kind of his little.
Have you
slump
seen
he'd
their
been in.
stats?
I'm getting some boost from there.
Look, have you seen their stats
Yeah.
from since when they started dating?
Did you see what he
Oh,
did last week
skyrocketed.
though? What was
Oh,
it?
yeah.
2
Well,
touchdowns, 100.
He was also
50 or 60
recovering
yards?
most of the season, sandbagging.
So now he's getting healthy. Yeah.
Now he's getting maybe spending a little less time in bed and a little bit more time on the field. We don't know.
But if you also think about it, I bet you anything, if you look at stats from first half of the season to the second half, I bet his playing time has gone up because they had to win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
they
take
got
the
him in there.
Yeah, but the playoff game, he had minimal touches on that one.
So you got 49ers.
I got
Who'd you
49ers.
get?
I'm going to say, look, I'll throw it out there, +7 49ers.
I'm not even going points. I mean, I think.
All right, well, let it be known, +7.
Win.
I'm really hoping.
All right, so with the spread,
we'll do our points. We think too, but I'm saying whoever it is, it's just going to be the win too. Because honestly, we always hope it's going to come down to the last possession.
Absolutely.
And
A good
hopefully
game is always the best
it's a score and someone wins by 1 point.
I just don't
Let's
want
go.
a 2018 Seahawks Super Bowl where it was like 63-4. That wasn't the score. I don't think it was a blowout.
I don't think so.
It wasn't
this
even
year.
fun.
So, Will, who do you got?
Well, I think that if you look at both, it's a great matchup.
It is.
I mean, San Francisco offensively has great firepower. You kind of want to give the edge to offense to San Francisco. And honestly, the defenses, I feel like San Francisco's defense it's a good defense.
It is.
But when they added Chase Young, I expected a lot more out of this
Right.
defense. He's gotten 2 sacks or a sack and a half since he's been there.
Yeah.
Just, at the end of the day,
You expected more.
The Chiefs' defense is solid.
Yeah.
Very solid defense. Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
He's got those boys dialed in right now, and he's going to have something for Brock.
Yeah.
So
2.5 sacks
and
is the
I will
over-under
and
for
at the end of
the
the day,
Kansas City Chiefs. So
I'm not betting against Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I can't do it. I'm taking the Chiefs all
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
You give me the spread and the Chiefs.
I'm taking the points as well on the Chiefs. I'd also take the over on the 2.5 sacks. I'd take the over on the points. I think it's 47.5 is the over-under right now. And if you're looking for a single game parlay, I'm absolutely doing a Mahomes Kelsey as part of that. Yeah, maybe an over 250 passing, over 100 yards receiving. I think the real key is going to be McCaffrey, the running back for San Francisco. If San Francisco comes out and controls the pace with their run game, then it's all over because you've just eliminated the sky high offense that Mahomes can put out there.
Yeah.
You got to, that's a good point. Debo Samuel
Yes.
hadn't played.
Yeah.
He didn't play
And the last time they did,
Exactly.
Last time he did, they shut him down.
When you have Debo in, though, it brings a whole nother element to their offense that they haven't been dealing with. That's why they've kind of gotten down and had to kind of crash their way back in. I'm still going with the Chiefs, though. Rob,
Yeah.
what do you
Rob,
think?
who you got?
I'm going with my heart. I'm going for Detroit Lions. We're gonna bite some kneecaps off and just take over the game. No, and that's for Fingers Malloy. I'm doing that for Fingers.
Shout out Austin Last for losing.
Yep.
Here's to you, brother.
Yeah, I'm out. No, I'm going Chiefs. I feel like he's awesome. I don't think it's his time yet. I feel like Mahomes, they understand they've got a chance to build this dynasty, and I don't see them laying down and letting it go. Yeah. I mean, they could be down 14 points in the fourth quarter, and I think Mahomes is going to find a way to win.
Yeah.
Now it could be a 3-point win.
He's scrappy.
But I could see them come back and win. So I'm picking the Chiefs, but I'm hoping for just a solid game across the board.
So Chiefs by 3 or more?
I'm saying 3. Yeah.
All right, so he's
3 or
taking
more.
the points.
So
All
so
right.
3
Taking
plus.
the points.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a 2.5 line right now.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. So
We'll see what happens.
So if
It's
San
obviously a
Fran
divided table right now.
So if San
but
Fran wins, Mike wins the table. Otherwise, the rest of us win.
Yep.
There's Kevin.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good to wrap up here anytime.
Yeah,
now.
well, I gotta-
it's inside of 2.5. I like that. So,
Yeah.
So take your pick on the points there.
I got a knuckle burner over here. So
Yeah,
give me
I'm
final
getting
thoughts,
down-
Rob.
I'm into the final third now. It definitely kicked up in strength a little bit. The spice is kind of coming back in the nose a little bit more. With that last whiskey, the Hail to the Victors, it was beautiful. That of the 3, the Jack was perfect with it. It was great. It did both things. It did the spice and it did the sweet. Of the other 2, the Cocky was great, but I think the Hail to the Victors definitely took over the flavor on the end of the cigar for sure.
What do you think, Scott? Final thoughts.
So final third of this one, the black pepper took over completely from the red pepper, and picked up big time. Nice spice on the retro, but definitely black pepper, not the sharpness that you get from the red pepper.
It definitely intensified.
Yep, and it's a great cigar. I mean, they came through again, another beauty, and looking.
It's
forward
never
to
a
the event.
letdown.
Yep.
Yeah. Will, final thoughts.
Again, I reiterate with what both these guys say. I feel like it intensified, but not too much.
No.
Yeah, definitely didn't
It
overpower
wasn't
anything.
crazy. No, it just picked back up.
And just another.
It went back to the first light. So like at first light, I got a lot of black pepper, a lot of red pepper. The red pepper kind of died off a little bit through the third, and then it came back towards the end.
Another home run by Mr. Micallef.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Al. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Mike, what do you think, bud?
I love it, man. I think it's great. I got all the black pepper. The red pepper was pretty prevalent throughout until the final third, and then the black pepper kind of kicked up a little bit for me. Now it's intensifying a little bit, but it's not so overpowering that I can't take it. So,
One thing I will say, I know you got one on, I got one on right now. Get in here, get your limited edition Smoky Man
pin.
hat pins.
Yeah,
we got those in here now. So
get the pin.
Come in and get you a pin.
Yeah.
They're cheap.
Yeah. All right,
So-
Rob. Where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar.
Scott.
I just started something here for the podcast with my new social media presence. So look for @ScottyDSmokes on Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I'm out there. I'll get some content.
Scotty with a Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scotty D with
Scotty
the Y.
D?
Scotty
Okay.
D Smokes.
There
Gotcha.
you go.
Will?
Where can they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Cocky Wolverine.
There you go.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Mike.
You can find me on Instagram at Both the Visuals and Spencer Lee's.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys, for listening in. We're excited to get this going, and we almost hit the 2-hour mark today, guys.
Heck
So
yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
We'll see you next week. Cheers.